Greetings and salutations, and welcome to Flintlocks and Fireballs, where a handful of mad actors will attempt to survive the treacherous waters of Dungeons and Dragons. I am your host and Dungeon Master, Jason Phelps, and I am joined by Robbie, social distancing Bellekom, Sam, antisocial closeness Burns, and Ellie, socialist fish dancing Sparrow.
Huh.
That's brilliant.
Mine sounds like the most fun, but the least helpful to the country.
I don't know if it was hopefully those fish dances will might result in fairer medical care being provided. Yeah. They are socialist fish dancers after all.
This is true.
I don't think fish can carry it. So.
Yeah.
I'm just imagining the Monty Python fish dance now, but with a guy wearing a big star and hammer and sickle hat.
Aww. Weird times, gang.
It's some strange old times.
Yeah, it's about 3 days since we last recorded, so we're not a lot further along than what happened.
It's time. Yes, it's time for our for our pandemic catch up, where we make up our buffer a bit.
Yeah, you can tell how far ahead we are if we tell you that the pubs have just closed in the UK this evening.
And there's been some adorable videos. We got the announcement, I think it was yesterday or the day before yesterday, that the schools will be closing, except for kids of vitally important people like emergency workers and so on. And this has led to some lovely videos of really disappointed children of those emergency workers finding that everyone else will not be going to school, but they still have to.
Very sweet.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
Miserable children in school uniform.
Speaking of miserable children, it's time to ask the spoiled brat that is future us what messages from the present. It's Future Jason with messages from the present. Listen up for a spot from our friends over at Kids on Bikes during the break this episode. This episode of Flintlocks and Fireballs is once again brought to you by you. As ever, a massive thanks to our crew members on the Flintlocks Patreon who help keep this ship sailing. There is a wealth of extra content and bonus features for patrons, including regular blog posts, extra stories narrated by the cast, DM tips, artwork, and a monthly poll for the community to help design an element to go into the game. We are wrapping up now our community creature this month, so be sure to vote on that. You can check it out at patreon.com/flintlocks and fireballs. Link in the description. As with our last several episodes, we'd also like to mention the recently launched online group heist game, Agent Venture, where you and your socially distant friends can infiltrate a corrupt corporation's HQ with nothing more than a laptop and an internet connection. Ellie and I both worked on development for this and will both be GMs for this game, so you can check out the link in the description. And that is it for announcements this time. Back to you, Past Jason.
Honestly, I always feel a bit sick when you ask for messages from the present at the moment.
Yeah, I
everything
know.
is
Yeah, me
legitimately
too.
like on fire levels of terrifying. And you're like, what's happening in the future? I'm like, I don't want to fucking know.
I don't know. Don't tell me. Please don't tell me.
Robbie is
Oh my
actually
God.
on fire. I hope not.
Hey!
Oh my goodness! There was the episode where we were joking about zombie plagues, and that just happened to coincide with the corona outbreak.
Yeah.
And we'd recorded that 6 weeks earlier.
Yeah, before it was, I mean, like,
Actually,
some
like
people
8
had
weeks
it, but
earlier.
it wasn't a pandemic at that point.
Yeah. It was by that point. It was still like a very localized outbreak in China and hadn't really spread across borders yet.
Yeah, and I think it would have been in a few places by that point.
Yeah, we
but,
hadn't really heard of it.
It wasn't scary.
Yeah.
It was, back of the newspaper stuff at that point, as it were. Everything's fine.
Speaking of existential dread, it's probably time for us to begin. Flintlocks and Fireballs. Our land stands on the sabre's edge.
Our cities are a powder keg.
Brother chains, brother, no one's free. A life on land is short, you'll see.
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.
Previously, on Flintlocks and Fireballs, the party visited a saloon for the first time, amongst other things. The crew of the Kraken's Bane have finally arrived in the region of Eastern Sunder, broadly known as the 13 Colonies, the Osirian Dominion. Having docked at the city of Thunder's Watch, they witnessed a small altercation involving a protest against tea monopolies and the deposition of quite a lot of tea.
Kerfuffle, I think you'll find.
Yeah, a kerfuffle.
A shenanigan.
A kerfuffle.
if you will.
It was definitely a kerfuffle.
In which a great deal of tea was emptied into the harbour. Then proceeded to head into town, buy a newspaper, find their first saloon, decide not to enter any churches, and decide to become angel investors for one WWW Warburtittle, Esquire.
Walter Wilbur Williker Warburtittle.
Indeed, and his plan to follow the Sundran dream and start selling wieners. Is promising the possibility of I think it was a wiener in every mouth.
A wiener in every house.
A wiener in every. Yeah, it was a wiener.
Just the one per house.
What in today's corporate parlance we would call a vision statement.
Oh, it's the best 50 gold I've ever spent in a D&D game. I just regret nothing. Like, oh.
Yep.
And fought off a loan shark and his gang, Bruno's Bangers.
Sausage gang.
delivering Bruno into the tender, loving care of Lapsang, the tea dragon, who is literally here to shake down the criminal underworld. Before hitching a carriage ride back with the elven industrialist Lady Grace. The party were deposited out in front of, I believe it was the Hotel Rosewater, if I have that right. Yes, a rather fancy hotel with a sea view. You discovered the quotation marks joys of minibars.
Yes.
And settled down to a night's sleep.
I think I probably drank quite a lot of the minibar last night.
There were up to 20 things in the minibar. Deduct accordingly 1 silver per thing.
Like, many. So many.
Is it now empty?
I think if it's empty, then yes, just take 2 gold off.
Yeah, Celestia might have drunk the minibar with anyone who cared to join her last night, I think.
Jeffrey probably did.
Excellent.
To be honest, for the novelty, Corzin might have joined you.
Excellent. We got pissed at the minibar, we're both hungover. Fabulous.
You awaken, Celestia with a hangover. Celestia, Leah, and Scamp are rooming in one of the 2 rooms you rented. Corzin, you wake up to a much more excitable Corzin Jr. He always wakes up before you.
Oh yeah, easily.
So, but I'm going to briefly focus in on the other 2 for a moment. You awaken, Celestia, with a hangover, to a dim grey morning outside. There is the faintest spot of drizzle for a few minutes here and there, but it's largely just like a slightly damp morning. It is cold outside when as Leah kind of blearily gets up, cracks open the window. There's just like a rush of cold air in before she closes.
Fucking freezing.
Oh, that was.
Why would you do that?
I was hoping to get a bit of fresh air. You actually got quite a lot of fresh air as well, as there's a fairly hefty wind outside as well. There's a sort of through.
Stormy or just drizzly?
Not stormy, and it's like spit. When I say drizzly, I mean like spitting. Like it's not even that cloudy above. It's just a cold, miserable morning. It's one you're following that sort of annoying late summer cold snap that you're having. However, it is the 7th of full. One moment.
Full ripeness?
Sorry, full ripeness. Yes, indeed. I think we said it was. So.
I think that's what I've got last time.
Let me just
yeah,
double
6
check.
of full ripeness I've got
Full
last
ripeness.
time.
Oh, actually, so it's actually the midsummer. My apologies. It is
Why is it so cold?
I hate it.
full ripeness. Oh no, full ripeness.
That's what you said last time.
Let me just check my notes because I feel it can't be full ripeness because otherwise we're past first colours. No, falling. Yeah, we are past first colours because falling leaves was when the campaign started, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's what I was
Yes.
thinking.
Yes.
It's getting my
Yeah,
things right.
7th of
So
falling
we are
leaves.
actually in mid-autumn. I've been getting my seasons slightly mixed up.
But we are in 6th of full ripeness, that is
Yes,
right.
you are in this. You are on the 7th now.
7th,
of-
yeah.
It is it is Petter's Day, the 7th of full ripeness. And yes, sorry, you are having the coldness of mid-autumn. Although it's somewhat muted compared to how. I mean, today is a cold day, but in general, it's a bit more muted compared to how it would be back home in Jova. The general climate is more Mediterranean. It's not as satisfyingly tropical and warm as it was back when you were in Porto Omicidio. But at this latitude, while there is seasonal variation, it's a bit more gentle for the most part.
It's cold.
I don't like it.
It's wet.
I'm going back to bed.
Make it stop.
You look out, it does not stop.
No!
I asked you to make it stop. Did you not listen?
You've got the wrong sorcerer.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
You need the other one for
You
that.
didn't give Victory a call, could you? Got some really, really important things for her to do. Make it stop raining so we can go outside.
Leo looks like, we just put a coat on, it's fine.
I know, I'm just
No!
whining.
No!
You hear a knock.
Hello?
No!
What?
Room service!
Oh,
That
I opened the
doesn't-
door.
I
Hello?
don't trust it.
You open the door, Scamp sort of like looking up suspiciously. Some part of you instinctively readies a spell just in case.
I cast mage armor.
You just like quickly tie the little bit of leather around your horn. Feel your skin tighten.
So this is like at the
accordingly.
door, like slightly wonky sunglasses on, clothes in, and like loosely put together, looking a bit ruffled.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Is
there.
it?
It's the pencil moustached form of the, I suppose of the, what's the word I'm looking for? It's not maitre d', because it's not a restaurant.
Concierge.
Concierge.
Concierge, that's
Yes,
the
of the
one.
concierge. And he's pushing a little tray,
Tim Curry from Home Alone 2.
basically. Yes, basically. And he goes, good morning. We've got, since you've bought, as mentioned, breakfast is included. So, we have here, uncovers a little dish, and there is what kind of looks like porridge, but kind of weirdly pale porridge, slightly weird consistency to it. We have grits!
Oh, grit's edible?
Is it poison?
Well, shucks, no, it's grits. He looks a little confused. Uncovers another one. Next to it, there are some scrambled eggs in a little bowl. There is some bacon.
So what's grits then? Because in Jova, grits is stones, and you shouldn't eat them.
Well, here it's basically cornmeal,
Ah,
Ah.
but with a bit of milk and heat it up. And a lot of sugar. And he takes out just a jug full
Why
of
did you
just like
say
syrup.
so?
all right,
Should
fantastic.
have led with that next time.
Do you have coffee here? Is that a thing?
We certainly do have coffee, and he takes out a little from underneath the thing, pulls up a silvered jug full of hot coffee.
You are
As
my
well as some
everything.
cups.
Thank you.
Leaves it for you. I'll be back in about an hour to pick these up.
Thank you.
He's taken about a third of the tray off of the cart out. Goes out, closes the door, goes around to the next room. Room service.
Corzin will detach himself momentarily from little Corzin, go and answer the door.
He opens the door. Good morning. Breakfast? Little Corzin looks up. Pa, why is his moustache so small?
That's not very tactful, Corzin.
Oh,
thank
sorry.
you. Please come in.
Mister, why is your moustache so small?
Little Corzin asking the big questions here.
Little Corzin has the important things in mind.
The concierge deftly sidesteps that question and starts producing.
I do
the various...
apologise for my son. This is all very
No worries. And we've got some grits, and just goes over the various breakfast items available.
Now, I have a feeling like if he hasn't had them, Corzin will at least have heard of these, because it's like a porridge adjunct.
Yeah, it's basically like you have not had grits before, but you've heard of it.
What do grits taste like, Jason?
That is an excellent question.
This is almost a thing because the stowaways on the server, like who in America have talked about grits, and none of us have any idea,
Grits.
like what this really is. Like we've all Googled it, but we don't really understand.
Like, it's one of those weirdly,
very American specific things that we
which
definitely don't
like,
have. Yeah.
As far as I can tell, it's basically corn porridge.
Yeah, that's the understanding that I have. Yeah. By all means, tweet me about grits. I'm probably going to be inside and up for it. So,
my
Send
point
us
being
grits.
Send me fucking grits. I will eat them.
That Corzin may well have. Well, Corzin certainly would have in his time had something similar, which is burgoo.
Yes, you've had burgoo.
Oh yeah,
before.
sailors. I know what that is, but burgoo's like porridge, but with like molasses, isn't it?
Yeah.
And you are actually quite fortunate in that instead of molasses, there is a nicer sort of sugar syrup in a tiny little jug. Tiny little,
like golden syrup.
Yeah, close to golden syrup that comes with it.
Right. That is how Corzin will sell the idea to little Corzin, and he will then get probably the full Cairnese that he knows Molly will want for breakfast.
Yeah, you order that separately, and he returns. I'll say like 20 minutes later with a full Cairnese as well.
Yeah, I think Corzin himself would probably have just gone for whatever was left after that.
Yeah. So, you tuck into your surprisingly okay breakfasts.
First breakfast,
yes. There is the hotelier has catered to halflings before, and has actually given you slightly less initial breakfast, but when you eventually go down, there is a small, like, sort of wrapped jam sandwiches type affair.
Excellent.
Prepared for the three of you, so that you can have it for second breakfast.
That's adorable. I imagine the grits are indescribable.
The grits are indescribably tasty. It would be very difficult for me to describe their taste and texture. Flintlocks and Fireballs, where it's 19 minutes in or however long after editing, and we're talking about breakfast.
The important stuff.
Yes.
Yes.
Quite.
Yes. The only person who has any sausages, however, with their breakfast is Molly, having gotten the full Cairnese. And she kind of, having recounted the events of the previous day, I imagined she's sort of spearing one with a fork, munching it up. I wonder if these wieners are going to. I wonder if these wieners are going to be any better.
Oh, possibly. I think it's an idea that deserves a chance.
Do you imagine it's going to be like a sort of really high quality sausage, or like a really cheap one that's really easy to produce?
Well, I suppose in order to distinguish from everything else out there, it's got to be original.
She nods.
We'll have to wait and see.
I suppose so. Hey, you never know. We might be tucking into wieners at high-class establishments in the future. Or, maybe people will just stick them into a bun and sell them in the middle of the street. Who knows?
Stranger things have happened.
50 gold for the stupidest canon thing in all your future campaigns to ever exist.
www.wieners.
There are whole books written on the origin of the name hot dog.
That's so dumb.
There are so many books written about it.
Oh, that's so stupid.
I can remember none of the facts I learned about hot dogs, and I'm really sad right now.
Well, you can read up. Sorry, I'm fine. Carry on.
I've got plenty of time.
You emerge. You all meet back down in the atrium, or the lobby, as they call it there. I think we have lobbies over here. I don't know if that's actually.
We definitely call them lobbies.
We definitely call them lobbies here. I like to imagine this is maybe the first time you've encountered the word lobby and just assume it's a Sundren thing. Who knows? Cross-cultural
We should just
pollination.
start saying this, as you call them doors. No, we call them doors too.
We
Really
call
just
them
play
inside
up
windows.
Just start lying. No, well, you head down to the lobby, in any case, and Molly says to you, right, looks like you've got, you're planning some inland travel then? Leah nods. Yes, we've got a bit of a trek towards Herbertsville later in the day. Right, well, obviously, Captain, I'll need to stay here and man the ship. And I imagine we'll engage in a small spot of tourism with young Corzin. She ruffles his hair.
Please do, and Corzin will give the majority of his remaining riches to them to use as they see fit.
Okay.
What if we need to invest in more sausages?
Well, that being 40 gold.
That's not enough for sausages.
He's got some change after that, but 40 gold is all he has on him. He says, we'll deal with all the trading stuff when I get back. This hopefully shouldn't take long.
So be it. You step out. Molly takes the gold and heads off to take care of the ship. So, quick note, the ship is berthed from the 6th of full ripeness. So, when you come back to travel onwards, we'll make a note to deduct probably from that 40 gold, or from the ship funds, we'll decide when, your berthing fee.
Yeah. Because it's 40 gold a day, isn't it?
No. It was, I'll just double check my notes. Berthing fee. Would it be nice if you'd written this down, Jason?
Well, I know we paid 40 gold
You paid
when we arrived.
You paid I think it's 5 gold a day, and it was a 35 gold initial berthing fee.
That's what it is.
Right, okay, fine, cool.
Yeah. So that's how much you spend. Don't forget that you also have samovars to sell.
Yes,
which
that is something we will deal with when we get back, probably.
Yeah, unless you want to look for someone to buy samovars today.
Actually, that's the point. Yeah, we can.
As you kind of think about this, Leah says, "I mean, I definitely want to set out today, but we can set out in the afternoon if we've got things to do in the morning. I'm not too worried."
All right. Well, I can imagine that the bottom has just dropped out of the tea market here, but maybe there is somebody who can take these samovars off our hands for a reasonable price.
It is a little bit funny that we're selling samovars, isn't it?
A little bit.
I mean, what are the odds? frankly, I mean...
Are you sure you don't mind, darling, if we take a bit of the morning?
A few hours isn't going to make a difference.
So much more sensible than me.
It's been months, you know. It's at the end of the day.
Yeah.
She
All right.
smiles, nods.
Would it be
It's
an idea,
good
actually...
to be near the end.
Yeah. I was going to say, would it be an idea, actually, to scry on him to make sure he's still in more or less the same place
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
we assume
Before
he
we
is?
set off, it's worth knowing.
Yeah.
Should I do that now?
Can I?
Yeah.
Well, we've got a secured hotel room to do it in, you know?
Yep,
We
it's
can
not quite
spare
checkout
10
time.
minutes, certainly. Right.
So, alright, so you head back up to the hotel room. And
Michael John Boot, yeah?
yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you take out the eye. Sit down on the bed. Well, actually, there's a chair. There's a chair and a desk. You sit down in the chair and the desk.
I always picture her sitting on the floor, weirdly.
You can sit down on the floor if you want. And spin the eye.
Show me Michael John Boot.
Everything swirls for a moment as you splash down into the sea. The bubbles float around you. It's an experience that still has a degree of discomfort, but over the 20 or so scryings that you did on the way here to double check whether or not there were any teleport platforms, it's begun to become familiar again. There's still a bit of a discomfort to it to a degree, but
Yeah, I still don't like it.
yeah, but it's not quite as terrifying as the first plunge back in. Sensory experiences. You head towards. Just think about what would be happening. Yeah, you head towards a bubble, and find yourself, of all things, in the middle of a carriage. You can hear the clop of horses outside, and it is a small carriage. It's narrower than Lady Grace's. This is not one that can comfortably, or slightly uncomfortably, seat 6 people. This is a little two-person and a small folding table style hansom. And sat inside it, glancing out of the window and with a handkerchief in his hands, which he's sort of fiddling with his fingers in a sort of nervous habit, you see human man, short brown hair, heavily freckled, with green eyes, and interestingly, a green waistcoat over a white cotton shirt and brown trousers. And he has a little thin string bow tie of dark green cotton, and on the seat next to him is a wide-brimmed light green hat. He seems healthy, seems well enough fed, doesn't show obvious signs of starvation or deprivation. You can, studying him, looking at his features, he looks like someone who has gone through that. He has the look of someone who has been through a lot of deprivation and has more recently begun to put weight back on again. And yeah, you can see what appears to be countryside out through the window. Mediterranean temperate climes, trees.
Okay, different temperature to where we are.
No. So you are in Mediterranean temperate climes
But
now.
it's grey where we are. What's
It's
the
grey
weather
where
like
you
here?
are. It is lighter. There is. So there's no. There isn't the speckles of rain. It's the same. It seems to be about the same time of day. But there are some clouds in the sky, but it's not quite as overcast. Give me a perception check.
Okay, so Oh, that's actually really good. That is 23.
23. It's peering out of the windows. So this carriage has little sort of like, they're like grills almost on the windows for like keeping out dust and stuff. But they're those sort of ones where you get like crosses of wood where you got the little diamonds that you can see through. Mm-hmm. They are open. The window is open on one side where Michael is looking out and kind of nervously twisting his handkerchief. The other side, the grill is shut, but you can peer through it, and you can see in the very, very distance on the horizon the edge of a larger sort of cloud front. Looking around generally.
Yeah, anything landscape-wise, literally anything.
Yes, there is. You'll have to lean out and peer out the front. You can see they're travelling along a dirt country road. Mm-hmm. Towards, in the distance, you can see some sort of town. Mm-hmm. From the looks of it. And you do actually make out, say with that 23, you can just make out a distant little mile marker. It's basically just a stone where someone has carved, actually wouldn't even be carved in, just painted on H-ville 3 mi.
Okay. And they're heading in that direction.
And they seem to be heading towards there. You can... I'm trying to think, what else? Yep, sounds like a standard 2-horse type cart. Mm-hmm. You can't, from your position, really see the driver. There is presumably someone handling the reins. There does not appear to be anyone accompanying this carriage, however, that you can see. There is, tucked underneath Michael's seat, what appears to be a small case, like a document case of some sort. And studying the outside of the carriage, you do notice there's I'm trying to think what this would be. Yes, you do notice someone has had a brass plaque attached to the side of it at some point, which says P. Vandersar.
P. Vandersar.
Yes.
Yeah, does it say anything on the case?
The case, just kind of looking down, from the angle in which it's positioned, there's no obvious markings on it. It's just a leather-bound case.
Mm-hmm. And there's nobody else in this carriage, just him?
It's just him. He's kind of staring out, looking at the town, occasionally looking at the countryside.
Yeah. Can I have a look at the driver?
As I said, you can't see the driver from here.
Oh, right, okay.
Because you were kind of peering out from the edge. The driver is sat, presumably, in the middle on, like... It's one of those cases where there's, like, a step up and above.
That's
so they're, like, almost on the roof.
Yeah.
So from even craning your head out, you can't actually see...
And there's only so far I can go because bubble. Yeah,
there's a limit to how far you can travel with the bubble.
It's not a sanctumed carriage.
No, this appears to be a... Like, it's a reasonably nice carriage, but it's not luxurious, it's not sanctumed. And yeah, around seems to be mostly agrarian fields. Thinking about the time of year it would be, filled with thick golden stalks of maize. I think it's maize fields to one side. The other side, you can see maize fields a little bit further off, but there's a section which has actually been cordoned off, has been fenced off, and there are some cows as well. But it's that sort of, it's the farmland that you get in the areas surrounding a town, which you can see in the distance.
Right. Okay. I think I spend the next 10 minutes just studying Michael and seeing if I can glean any other information. I don't think I can, but I think that's the character instinct I'm getting.
An insight check.
It's not bad, actually. That is a 16.
Okay. He seems lost in thought for the most part. Doesn't really... Not the sort of person who talks out loud when he thinks.
Most people aren't.
No. That's people like me and my mother who has full-on conversations when she thinks with herself.
Same.
Yeah.
No, but Jason's mum has two sides of the conversation all on her own. Like,
Yes,
she talks
yeah.
back. It's amazing. It's the best thing.
But he seems... He has worry lines or stress lines etched into his face. He looks to have aged. Someone who is young, but hardship has aged them. But right now, he doesn't seem... He seems nervous, but there's almost a sort of cautious optimism.
Nervous, but not scared.
Not scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the most you can really read from him, without any further interaction.
Yeah, I think for the rest of the 10 minutes, if she can't see anything on the landscape, she just sits opposite him and just has a really, really good look for...
Yeah.
I mean,
Eventually...
A, for herself, but B, for anything she can tell Leah.
Yeah. There's not a lot else to say. Like, blows his nose at one point, but otherwise, just eventually the bubble closes back in, and you return. Leah looks anxiously from a position from. She sat on the bed looking down. How's he doing?
Better than I thought, darling. Actually,
Okay.
not in some horrendous situation.
Okay.
Actually, in a carriage on his own. So
What?
I've no idea what's going on, to be honest. Yeah, he wasn't wearing, a slave uniform. He was wearing a waistcoat and a shirt and trousers, and he had a hat. Looked like he was doing actually quite well. Had a briefcase. They were definitely on their way to Herbertsville. I saw a sign, so that's right. He looked like he'd been eating all right. He wasn't. Last time we scryed on him, he was looking thin.
I mean, that was 4 or 5 months ago.
Yeah, but he's
must
not in the
have
same
changed.
situation. He's been putting weight back on. He's looking okay. The carriage said P. Vandesar on it.
Vandesar.
I don't know if that means anything to anyone.
I might actually roll a history
Does
check
it?
for Leah. The name rings a bell. I feel like they're a family. I feel like they're a family my father would have dealt with at some point, maybe.
Like a
but-
rich family.
Yes.
I suppose. I mean, they have carriages. Yeah, I suppose so.
That's
a bit
that's
obvious.
the most I can think of. The name sounds familiar, but couldn't really recall anything else.
Yeah, he looked nervous but not terrified. Maybe a little optimistic even.
Okay.
So
I-
less bad than we thought, actually.
I have no idea what to feel about this.
That's okay.
I'm great, but confused.
Weird.
This is... yeah. Oh.
I mean, if he's doing a bit more all right, I could send if you'd like.
I think
Up to you.
I need... If he's going to Herbertsville, then maybe this is just a conversation we need to have in person.
Yeah, that might be right.
Oh. Okay.
How are you doing? Sorry, that's a stupid question. Fucking hell.
No, it's... I knew this was coming, it's just... It's getting more real, you know?
A bit terrifying when it actually happens, isn't it?
Is there anything we can do to make it better?
Oh, I think you're already doing it mostly. We just...
All right. But had to ask.
If there's anything we can be doing differently, just update us, alright?
Thank you.
Yeah, just say.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and when we get there, whatever you need.
Yeah.
She nods. Drinks there's a little bit like quarter cup of coffee left. She just downs it. Cold coffee is... Actually, that wasn't bad.
Is there any coffee left in the pot?
There's like the black sludge at the bottom.
Oh, bugger.
That's not
Drink
bad here,
it.
actually.
I just should realise your coffee was cold. I could have warmed it up for you. It's easy enough.
No worries. Oh, right. I guess
I'm usually more of a tea person, but I thought that would be in bad taste right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think tea will go down well. I can't believe we're selling samovars. It's ridiculous.
I know. What are we doing here?
What is life?
It's what we've got. I mean, literally, if we'd been a day earlier.
So, imagine you were arriving one day earlier. It's like, oh, fantastic. We're looking forward to a really big tea shipment tomorrow. These will sell wonderfully.
Right, what are we doing?
Somewhere to sell the samovars and then get
Yeah, we've
fucking
gotta
going,
find somewhere.
basically. As far as I
Yes.
remember.
Yes. Yes, I guess we find out how far away Herbertsville is and head on
Yeah.
there. So, all right, you...
Seems
Yeah,
as though-
do we have a map? Is that a thing we have?
I think you do actually... You have a broad map of the continent.
Yeah,
but it
Corzin
doesn't...
would have that.
Do we need a local
The local
map?
area, maybe.
Local area is more what you need.
Maybe we should find a
Alright.
map as well.
General store, probably.
Okay. General store time.
Oh, I just remember that one shot we played in ages ago. We played a one shot where somebody had General Store that was run by General Store. That was his name. He was an army
Retired
general
military
called
man.
General Store. It was
Love it.
amazing.
Okay. You head out to look for a general store. Let me just see. Would anyone like to roll an investigation check?
Yes.
I would very much like to.
Oh no.
17.
Okay, that's more than I rolled.
17. Okay. You start to head towards the waterfront. Seems like a good place for central areas. As you are heading out, however, Corzin,
Yeah.
you notice, leaning on a street corner, kind of a little bit out of view, is the same blue-skinned figure you saw the previous day. Short black hair, wearing a short but thick blue and slightly tatty-looking blue-dyed coat over his white shirt and blue trousers.
All right. On the pretext of readjusting his tricorn, he is going to touch the little sending stone on the side and say, just seen the same guy that was tailing us from yesterday over in that direction. Yeah, they'd be able to see where I was indicating. Yeah. I am then going to, as nonchalantly as possible, start walking in that direction.
I'm going to do something really stupid.
Oh, I was going to do something stupid
I'm gonna-
too. You go first.
No, both of you declare the stupid thing you're going to do, but you do it at the same time.
I'm going to message them. Was there something you wanted last night?
Okay, what do you do, Scamp?
I'm going to go up and just say, hello!
So, at the same moment as Corzin starts nonchalantly walking there, Scamp speeds right up ahead to say hello, at the same time as they get this message in their head, was there something you wanted? And the figure just sort of, startled, jumps back a bit, puts up their hands. Oh, well, there's no need for any unreasonable behaviour.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, why do you keep turning up everywhere, darling? What's going on? Hello.
What's your definition of unreasonable?
I do not wish to cause any alarm. It is simply the case that you are unusual new arrivals to the city, and I wish to see what the intentions of a ship such as yours would be.
Selling things and finding a person.
Studies you for a moment. He's got with these distinctive black sclera eyes, kind of almost eagle-like, with the black where the white should be. You're looking to buy and sell things?
Yeah.
That's right, says Corzin, catching up at this point.
Hilariously, we have some samovars. Celestia Stardust, by the way. Nice to meet you. Put out a hand. Do you shake hands? Is that a thing you do? If you don't, it's okay.
And then cocks it to the side and awkwardly takes it out, shakes yours.
Yeah. I don't know the greetings here.
Yes, that is a common occurrence, I believe is the word.
What's your name?
Serendidero.
Serendidera.
Serendidero.
Serendidero.
Ah.
Did I say that right?
Yes.
Good. Okay. Well, lovely to meet you.
He doesn't really blink often. When he does, it's quite a quick sort of like couple of blinks in quick succession, but mostly just quite fairly fixed sort of glare to him. Again, movements are quite quick and then still on occasion. Doesn't seem like not a very loungy sort of person.
So you weren't in any way connected with the people who attacked us last night, were you?
That was bad news. Yes. No. You were. It was the. What is the term? Lone shark. Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. He is a constant menace to many of those who live in the area.
Not anymore.
Not anymore.
He raises his bushy black eyebrows.
Wasn't actually us. But I mean,
I was just gonna drop him in the cesspit, but
yeah, that would have been fun.
it would.
One way or another, I think his loan sharking days are done.
I see. Yes. You wish to buy and sell things. You should come with me. We will take. I shall take you to Tekakwitha.
Yes, somebody mentioned. Is it her? Am I
Yes.
right? What's
Yeah.
what are your pronouns, darling? What are we talking?
Him.
Okay, good. I wasn't sure.
He tips his head forward twice for a moment.
Yeah, she, they, he, she. I gesture at everybody.
Yeah.
Thank
In
you.
the right order?
I feel like that's easy. Yes. I'm not like Corzin, she. just all of them at Corzin. She, they, she, he. That's everyone.
I see. Blinks a moment, twice. Yes, you are looking. Tekakwitha will buy things.
Okay, good.
Great.
Please.
Then they're definitely a person we'd like to see.
Please come this way.
Okay.
Lead on.
Turns and beckons and leads you much more openly towards the rougher part of town. You head down away from the nice waterfront, off past the kind of heavier warehouses in the south end, in towards the shanty town. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of goblins here. Many of them are up and already working at various jobs they are labouring in. But Serendidero leads you further south to the very edge of the settlement. As you're passing, you do notice. You do actually notice while you're on the way, there is one bar that you do pass. It's currently seems to be an all hours type place, although not very frequented. But you do just notice there is a interesting lacquered wooden sign outside this. Was essentially, it's like the rest of it. There is a sort of shack-like element. It looks to be built from found wood and the like, but someone has gone to the trouble of painting the roof green, although the paint, and they've gone to some effort to try and keep the paint fresh, and the lacquered sign in green and red has wording below it in a script that none of you can read, but which you recognise as East Haldanic, and a picture just of a bottle just like of a bottle with some alcohol in it. It looks like, just basically indicating this is a bar.
So
Watch some of the goblins with us.
so the name of the bar's...
The name of the bar is in
Haldanic.
So
I might ask Sendadero. Sorry, I don't read Haldanic. What's the name of that bar, if you don't mind me asking?
He looks, shrugs. Don't know.
Oh,
Do
no
not know
worries.
proper name. No, it is Madame G's.
Madame G's, thank you. I'm just curious, that's all.
Understand it is place to go if you're looking for good time.
Oh.
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 A very good time, as it were.
Yes.
Right.
Also,
It's the oldest profession in the world.
Madame G keeps, as I understand it, keeps collection of various parts of people who cause trouble.
Wow. Okay.
Very safe
Well, that's
place.
one way of ensuring nobody causes trouble.
Maybe I like her.
Old, been here a long time.
Have you been here a long time? I assume so, but...
Pauses for a moment. Shakes his head twice.
Okay.
Few years.
2 years?
Few years.
Few years. Right, fair enough.
Moves onwards without further comment, leading you towards an area where, instead of goblins, you start to see, and some of them kind of looking up give you a bit of space upon seeing the unusual group approaching, but you do see what appear to be a collection of figures living in these. Again, you only catch sight of a couple of them. Many of them are wearing thick coats and hoods against the cold, because it is still quite a cold, windy day. But you do catch flashes of bright blue, bright green, bright yellow, bright red, sort of ink black, bone white skin from different figures. Flashes of all of them where you see snatches of their faces. You get the same black sclera to their eyes with differing coloured irises, but with this very sort of eagle-like look to them. However, Serendidero leads you to essentially a two-story shack, or a larger shack, which has a simple... It's not even like a painted sign. There is just a... there is just hanging from a rope off the sort of overhang of it a small bundle of slightly rusty, broken tools tied together with rope, which seem to convey the message of general store. Like, there are a variety of things here. He taps quickly on the door. You hear a muffled voice from within, and he opens it, leading you inside. So as you enter, you see what is essentially a pawnbroker's shop. So there's everything, all manner of things in here. Simple tools like knives and hammers, although generally in much better state than the ones that you saw outside serving as the sign. Often showing signs of use and wear, but still functional. But there's also bolts of cloth, sacks of grain and corn, and you can even see some small items of jewellery in a little sealed case with a glass front behind the bar, although the rack of firearms is kept behind the desk in a sealed wire cage. There are indeed some slightly battered-looking muskets behind the bar. That said, despite the cramped quarters, the shelves themselves, the floor, and all of the surfaces are spotless, although they have a very second-hand feel to them. They look to be made from salvaged timbers, repaired, often that sort of thing. There is a small cone of incense burning on a plate at the shopkeeper's desk, giving the shop a very strong scent of sandalwood. And looking up, you can see the shopkeeper herself behind the bar. This woman, again, broadly humanoid, but with the same slightly avian tinted skull shape as Serendidera. You see she has a sort of yellow ochre type skin, with although interestingly, instead of hair, of the sort of fine hair that you kind of get along the backs of your hands and so on, you can see there's a very soft, fine, pinkish down. And instead of the more sort of mammalian style hair that Serendidera has, she has crimson feathers coming out of the scalp of her skull, and in tufts for her eyebrows, and she kind of gives her a hairstyle akin to a short, swept-back look. They're just like someone with quite short gel, almost like when you see someone with short hair where they've gelled it backwards.
Yeah,
it's that sort of like look to it, with like a slight, with kind of like a very speedy sort of look. Again, eagle-like eyes, although her irises are golden, flecked with orange, and again, black sclera. She is wearing a white cotton dress with brown patterned hemlines and soft leather, and from the sounds of it, as she moves, soft leather shoes, although you can't actually see them because she is currently behind the bar. She raises one of her feathered eyebrows upon seeing you enter. And Serendidero kind of quickly raises her hand and goes, she nods and gives you a slight smile. Welcome to my shop.
Hello. What was it we needed?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
We were looking for a map of the local area. Am I speaking with Teka Guifa?
Yes, it is a pleasure. She looks you over. And with whom do I have the honour of speaking?
Celestia Stardust, nice to meet you.
Hello, I'm Scamp.
Corzin Horhace at your service.
She looks between the three of you, nods, and does a small gesture where she just touches the centre of her chest once when looking at each of you.
Kind of respectfully incline her head.
Yeah. She has that same sort of infrequent blinking behaviour as Serendidera does. She doesn't blink often, and then when she does, it's like 2 or 3 times in quick succession. She says, yes, I believe we can get you a map. Is there anywhere in particular you're trying to get to?
Yes, we're trying to get to Herbertsville.
Okay. She says, one moment, I will just check the bag.
Thank you.
She heads back for a moment, and as she is searching, you hear the ruffling through things. You also hear her humming to herself. There we are. Steps back out and returns with the piece of with a folded map, which she unfolds. It seems to be cover sort of like a 50-mile radius, like sort of broadly 50 to 70-mile radius around Thunder's Watch, and depicts several smaller towns and villages.
Right, that
Excellent.
that looks great.
Can we find Herbertsville?
Looking at it, you can immediately see Herbertsville. She says, this will be 5 silver.
I'll get it.
Thank you.
The money, counts it,
No problem.
passes it back over.
Did I recognise what she was humming?
This is a very slim possibility. Roll me a history check.
Okay.
Might ruin this history check in a minute.
Okay. That's not very good. That's a 9.
No.
Oh, okay, fine. Just wondered.
I hand over the silver to her, and as I do, I say to her, I've an unrelated question that you're by no means obligated to answer.
Yes.
What were you humming? It sounded nice. I play music. I'm curious. I've not heard any local music yet.
It is an old song of the place where I grew up.
Where was that? Again, you don't have to answer anything. I don't know you, so don't feel like you have to.
I'm actually going to call a persuasion check on that.
Okay. Not like massively trying to properly persuade
No,
her,
but there's reasons.
yeah, cool. I mean, it's really good. How do you addition? 27.
7 was that?
27.
27. Okay, that's a
A
very
seven.
different
How would
result.
I even roll a 7?
That is a good point to give me a...
My modifier's plus
Yeah.
13.
There's a brief moment of pause. I grew up outside Imitar. It is... She gestures to the map she's given you, and you can see she traces, there is a river running out of Thunder's Watch. It goes down towards the south and forks, and she kind of points to the eastern fork, and it cuts off at the end of where the marking is. It starts cutting off very close to the fork. If you follow that river down, then you would reach Imitar.
All right.
It
Sounds like a good song.
It is an old song. Thanks, Ramon. I've been working on a translation into your German.
Ah.
If you would, I think you would not necessarily understand if I were to sing it in my tongue.
That's fair.
Give me 10 minutes. I can do
Her
a
eyes
magic
flick to
thing.
you.
There's a point.
Really?
Yeah, but I wouldn't be able to speak it, but I could understand.
Very well, if you so wish.
Would it help? I could check whether your translations worked.
She looks you, studies you for a minute.
Scamp, if you do that, could I listen through your head? Would that be awful?
I don't know if it would make a difference, would it?
I don't know.
I mean, she can listen to she can detect thoughts, your surface thoughts, and weirdly get the translation
That's
through
what I was
that.
thinking, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'd
but
say you
I
can
could
do
also
that.
just say it out loud at the same time.
Sorry for digging, but you've sung a song around the barge, like...
Yeah. No, fair enough.
That's reasonable.
So all right. So while you are taking 10 minutes, the Tekak with her is going to carry on a bit of conversation though.
Oh,
Of course.
Well then.
No, let's sit in silence.
Yeah, so you watch as
Stare
Scamp
at
starts
each
drawing a
other.
little circle. She watches with some interest as you're doing so.
Magic, magic, magic.
So, you are new.
Yes, we just got in yesterday. So if you're from Imitar, was that?
Yes.
Am I saying it right? Okay. If you're from there, how long have you been here? If you don't mind me asking.
Around 7 years. There was business to be had here.
Huh.
I feel you have not encountered Achin before.
I've not encountered that word before.
She gestures to herself and to Serendadera. Achin.
Ah, okay.
Action.
She gestures
I wanted to ask to make sure I wasn't calling you what other people... I don't know what's
She points
your
to
word for it. That's
Serendadero,
good.
then to Corzin, then to Scamp, then to you. Achin, halfling, tiefling, drow? Mm-hmm. She nods.
It's Leah here.
Elf.
Yes.
Actually, Would she make a distinction? Yes, she would. Yeah, she would. She nods. Leah is just sort of
good to know. Thank
watching
you.
and kind of keeping an eye on things, not necessarily commenting much, but sort of absorbing it all in.
Yeah, no, I've only been either Jova or underground, so there are lots of people I haven't encountered before.
So, what brings you to Sunder?
A few things.
Adventure!
Mostly, yes.
Yeah.
So, in a roundabout sort of a way. That and obviously business. We're here to trade.
Trading people.
Yeah, do you want some samovars?
We have many, if you do.
She
Yeah,
thinks
mostly
you
we're here to do business and find some friends.
Yes, often Dovans wish to do business. But
It's not the usual business that you get from my lot, just for the record.
she nods twice.
Sorry, I just realised if somebody like me says I'm doing business, that sounds bad. Which is fair.
It is rare to see one such as you on these shores. I've heard often of tales of your people from the, she gestures outside, from the goblins who live, and many and others, humans, halflings, who were brought over because of drow, but rarely see them themselves over here. Once, twice in the last year.
I ran off.
Nods. Yes, seems the way. Those I met mostly interested in somewhere safe.
Who did you meet?
She thinks her head, shrugs. Some drow. Doubt you would know them. Travellers.
Fair enough, I just... Unusual somebody runs off, is all.
Mostly headed north. Actually, sorry, adjusting for my head, it wouldn't be north anymore, it's more like north. Mostly headed northeast towards New Altmark sort of area.
Oh, fair enough.
Surprising. Would mostly have expected them to be around the Cotton States, but different business. That business conducted from afar. Drow coming here, seeming to get away. You may not be the first.
Makes sense.
You come from a place called Underdark, yes?
Yes.
Here, there is no Underdark.
Yes. No, there isn't.
Something
Good place
like
to escape to.
caves, old caves, long, deep. No drow.
Huh.
Interesting.
Too much ocean?
Yes.
Ocean in way.
Yeah.
Ooh. That's worth knowing.
So it doesn't stretch this far.
She shakes her head twice.
No, I knew there were no entrances here.
Oh, alright.
One of
But
the
there's
upsides.
something else? There's other caves?
That I didn't know. Did I?
No, I mean, it's not surprising.
Yeah. I mean, if there's an Underdark in
In
Jova,
Jova and Haldanos, that wouldn't be surprising
Yeah.
that there is an equivalent.
Yeah, because
but-
the major ones, as far as I understand it, are Jova and Haldanos,
Yeah,
aren't
yeah.
they?
But it's not surprising that
Yeah.
there are, but that there might be Underdark-like caves. But
Yeah.
you've not really
Celestia
heard
kind of relates.
specifically.
Yeah, the biggest parts of the Underdark where everybody lives, Jova and Haldanos. Nothing here. But, I mean, it's not a surprise there are caves. There's just none of my lot in them.
Yeah, but what is
Alright.
in them?
That's a good question.
It's about this point that you finish your circle.
Oh, right. This is done now.
Then I will sing you a song, I suppose.
Please, I'd like that.
That'd be
She
lovely. Scamp, are you okay with me
Yep, in you go. I'm going to mostly be thinking about bums until the song starts.
I won't look at anything. Don't worry.
You do just get a few images of bums. and
Wow,
the
that
word
one's
bum.
hairy. Fucking hell.
Puberty! The time when thoughts turn to bums.
Corzin laughs red-facedly.
She clears her throat. You hear... so, Corzin, you entirely hear something which is in Achin, or at least in her dialect of Chin, because it's like you don't really know enough to know what her specific language is, but seems to be in the one that she speaks from Imita, and it sort of goes like Hitaka hik hika hitaka hikata. However, the translation that comes to you, Scamp. I once had a friend, the rarest, the kindest you won't believe, who taught me tunes the fairest of the song of wind and leaves. She was tall beyond all reason, taller than the spruce and pine. She stood by me in all seasons, and she taught me to be kind. But the skies are burning, and the clouds can weep no more. Now our friends are gone forever, and all we can do is mourn. Did you know she was a builder of such towers grand and tall? Wrought her wisdom in each pillar, sealed her will within each wall. And she always gave me shelter when the winds grew harsh and cold. Knew me mother, child, granddaughter, though she never seemed so old. But the skies are burning, and the clouds can weep no more. Now our friends are gone forever, and all we can do is mourn. She made of the skies her palace, now there's nothing left but song. There's a place that's sore and callous in my heart where she belongs. Though if she could hear, she'd smile, tell me not to be forlorn. For this life is full of trials, and with friends we carry on. But the skies are burning, and the clouds can weep no more. Now our friends are gone forever, and all we can do is mourn.
Oh. Wow.
That was absurdly beautiful.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you for being curious.
Thank you for sharing.
Wow. Oh. I translate it for Corzin and for her to see if it's how her translation's going.
She listens, she nods. I will adjust those words. Thank you.
That's
The more you see, the less you know.
Do you mind if I take a copy? I won't perform it anywhere, because it's yours. Just so I can remember it. If you'd rather I didn't, that's also okay.
Sing it, but tell that it is from Imita.
Of course.
She nods.
If you'd rather I didn't sing it anywhere publicly, that's also fine. It can just be to look at.
Songs are to sing. Stories are to be remembered. Just say where those stories come from.
Is there... If I were to sing it anywhere else, is there anything else you'd want me to tell people?
Tell them to remember the Cloud Walkers.
Cloud Walkers.
They came before. They shaped these lands.
Who were the Cloud Walkers?
She looks down for a moment.
Again, no obligation to answer anything if you'd rather not.
Were they giants?
Giants. That is the word, yes. I think that is the closest that we have. They were the ones who taught my people long ago.
Huh.
Our older, wiser, larger cousins. They taught us much before the end.
Are there any of their cities left? Or any of their buildings?
She raises an eyebrow again.
I've heard so much, I want to learn.
Studies you? If you would learn, if you would see, then you may wish to head to Tiope.
Tiope.
It would be easier to head first to Inyan. She takes a map, heads into the back room and retrieves another map. It's a map of the coast of Sunder, similar to one that you recognise. And she gestures towards the city of which is marked down as Steinsfeld. Following the river down with a mark, with her finger, points to a point where the river first forks. That is Inyan.
Inyan.
From there, they may lead you to Tiope. The people there, they are Achin, though not my people. They are, or she thinks for a moment, what do you call them? They are the Panuki. Translation would be Stone Guardians. They live in some of the last legacy of the Cloud Striders.
Sounds very interesting.
Be wary.
Why?
They are often at war with, she gestures broadly, I would say your people. I do not know if you are Syrian.
No.
No.
Then with these colonies, they have often sought to expand.
Did
She-
notice all the cities have new names.
She shrugs a little bit. War is war. But war is also always war. The Panuki have done better than others. They are less prone to immediate violence than the Yamaso. Translation: Children of the Sky. They are given to raids. They believe this will reverse things. You will find them, she gestures to an area of land to the sort of south of where it says New Altmark, around here. They are neighbours.
When did the people who weren't the Achin or the Yonti come here? How long has it been? If I'm getting it right, that's more recent, isn't it? By the looks of things.
She thinks 300 years or so.
Not that long then.
Know this from, again, not you, but she broadly gestures, from the records here. When this was the land of the Sky Watcher.
Who's the Skywatcher?
She frowns. Oh, make a persuasion check again,
Okay.
just to see how much she trusts you.
24?
Do you know of... She has a moment to think of how to translate this. What is the word? Of the dream walkers.
Yes.
Yes.
It is the place that is... I do not... There are some who see those who dream walk. Those who see the world that is beside our world, but not.
We call it spirit sight.
Yes, that is the word.
Yeah, it might translate very differently, but that's what we call it.
There are some dreams, living dreams,
Yes.
that are old and long and persist. They are dreamed again and again and again and become more. You would say spirits.
Huh.
Interesting.
Skywatcher was a dream until he was made into a saint.
Oh, yeah, there's a church.
That is something to her gaze, which is a little more intense. That is what Jova has brought. Jova fixes the dream. Your regent, not just your regent. It is a change. I do not know if it is a good change, but it is a change. And the dream that flowed freely changing becomes static. And the one who watched the skies is now one thing.
And before it was more than one thing?
It was... She thinks. Pour water into a vase.
Yes.
The water is the shape of the vase. You can bring water into the vase and out of it. And if you break the vase, the water will flow. Freeze the water. Break the vase. This is what your saints do.
Like the regent or the ones underneath or
Yes.
both?
I am not a dreamwalker.
Ah.
She frowns.
Is a dreamwalker to you? Because dreamwalker might mean a different
One
thing.
who sees the
Sees
dreams.
spirits.
Yes.
Or dreams, yes. Okay.
Huh.
Because dreamwalker can mean a very different thing where we're from.
There are some legends of a place where dreams live beyond that dream that flows around us. Yes.
Oh.
I know people who live there.
I'd never really thought of spirits tied to that.
She shrugs. I am a blind woman describing colour. You understand?
Yeah,
So-
I think I do.
Good way to put it.
Yeah.
There is a place where dreams live.
Very much so.
That's not a
And a great-
legend.
Yeah, a great deal besides.
Narrows her eyes, nods twice. If... Seems to take a moment, thinking. Nods to herself. Yes. Maybe. How many samovars?
Oh,
How many do you
So
need?
many.
I will buy all of them. How many?
5 tons.
Yes.
She nods. Seems to... Her eyes flicker for a moment as she sort of consults almost an internal thing. Do you deal with the... What is it? The gold dwarves. The bankers.
Yes.
yeah, unfortunately. I
Golden
think we're going
crats.
to take over the world.
Yeah, we're talking golden crats and Guildenstern?
Yes.
Yes, of course we are.
I will draft an amount for you.
Okay.
Thank
5
you.
tons, yes?
Yes.
Yes.
2,000.
Just look at Corzin.
That seems reasonable to me. Out of character, that
Does it?
seem
Does it seem
reasonable.
reasonable?
Roll an intelligence check, I think. Call this raw
Intelligence.
intelligence.
Okay.
God, don't know.
Well, that is cocked. Well, that's a 10.
I mean, you bought them for like 150
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
did we?
It's a profit. It's a profit.
Yeah.
each. Like you bought them for 150 each, I should say. So like you collectively,
ton, is that?
yeah. So for 150 a ton. So she's
that's
offering you
pretty good.
400 a ton.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. Happily.
So she produces, of all things, a checkbook, essentially,
Oh.
and writes out a banker's draft, marking it with her personal mark, handing it to you. Says, which ship
The Kraken's bane.
Oh.
we will...
The Regent's Pride.
She looks between the pair of you, nods.
It's called the Regent's Pride.
Is it?
Understood.
Here it is. Yes.
Yes.
She hands you the draft. I will send some people to unload. If
Thank you.
if you head ever to Imita, mention me. And she moves to she thinks for a moment and reaches under her desk and produces what appears to be it's a curious thing. It appears to be a small copper pendant wrapped around what appears to be a bird claw, but it's a bird claw the size of your thumb. Your thumb,
Like a super
Celestia.
tiny one.
No.
Right.
It is a bird, like not just like a whole talon. I mean, like one, like
Oh, like really
an actual,
big, yeah.
like an actual
Like
claw.
comparable to a human-sized hand.
Jesus.
The whole thing was probably be comprised, but I mean, like just like the actual, like I don't know if claw or talon. What's the word bit? The bit that
Yeah,
would
I
be the
get
equivalent
that.
of the nail. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like one of those, but it's the size of your thumb.
Jesus.
Okay.
Talon's the back one, the front ones are pounces.
Pounce. Thank you.
Oh, good fact.
But I don't know if the nail bit has a different name.
I'm going to call it claw for the
Claw
moment.
works.
Claw. It's
High
the naily
quality
bit.
facts, though. I didn't know
The
that.
pouncy, the bit from the pounce.
I believe. I may be getting my
No, I
facts
remember that. I remember the distinction between talon and pounce. That is correct.
wrong. I got good names.
But I do not actually remember what the exact name of the nail bit is. So she passes you this. It's a pounce. It's wrapped in a bit of copper and has some markings on it. In again language you do not understand, but it's still within 10 minutes.
Sure.
So you can look at it, Scamp, and read that it is marked. To Fire Eyes. And that's all it says. And it is on a little simple leather thong. She passes it, I think to you, Celestia, along with the banker's draft.
I take it.
If you are in Imita, would you be so kind as to pass this on to Kawigode?
Kawigode.
Ask for directions.
Ask for directions.
Someone will lead you there.
If we don't find this person, and I come back, I'll bring it back, okay?
She lives in the blue... she lives in a house with blue-green walls.
Okay. If we're there, I'll find her.
She nods. Very well. I wish you luck in your adventure, as you say.
Thank you.
Much appreciated.
Thank you for telling us so much and sharing the song and being willing to talk to us.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
You weren't obliged to, and it was great. Thank you.
If we can do anything more for you,
Yeah, if there's anything...
let us know, because this... I've
Maybe.
learnt a lot
Yeah, me too.
already.
They don't tell us about the Achene. They don't tell us about any of this stuff.
She shrugs a little. I do not know much about your home, this Underdark.
Yeah?
Oh, I wouldn't bother going. It's not
Oh,
worth it.
Awful. If you want to know anything, by all means, I can tell you.
Perhaps when you are in town again.
Of course.
Yes.
Maybe we could,
Have tea.
yeah, have tea,
She
talk.
she doesn't really smile much, or like she has quite a fairly thick sort of expression, but her lips quirk up a little. There will be an initial panic, and then tea will be wanted again, and it will become very expensive.
Yes.
Yeah.
And at that point, your Sam of ours will come in use.
That's very clever.
I can wait.
Maybe I'll bring you a song in return, huh?
Again, quirk of a smile, double nod.
It's been very nice meeting you.
Yeah.
She touches her chest again to each of you and to Serendidero, who does the same.
I, again, like, shallow bow.
Serendidero looks at you. Well, I must get back to work.
What is work for you, if you don't mind me asking?
Carrying, lifting, dock work.
Ah, right.
It is hard, but there is work here.
Fair.
Do you want some money? We've taken up loads of your time.
Yeah, we really have.
Yes. Serendidero is not shy.
Good.
How much would you like?
How much will you give?
Would you like 10 gold?
Yes.
Okay.
Have 10 gold.
He takes it, like, doesn't react much, but again, there's that slight raise of both eyebrows and just, like, immediately takes it, pockets it before you can change your mind. And again, just, like, touches his hand to his chest, leaves it there, gives a slight tilt forwards. Tekakutha says, "Your generosity is appreciated."
Oh, I have very little sense of money because I had none and then loads.
I know you'll do good with it.
Yes. Come back to visit.
Will do.
Well, thank you.
She tips her head forwards twice.
Guess we leave.
You step out
Yeah.
and back into the Achin district of what is colloquially around here called Goblin Town, the southern end of town.
She was
will add
amazing.
Yeah. I will add the 2,000 gold pieces to the ship
Yes.
total while I remember.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, I imagine, yes, that is a thing. You may wish to. I will say that if you want to abstract this, you do make your way. It's very easy to find the local the local Golden Kratz and Guildenstern, as it is near
Yes,
the Harbour
Yeah.
Masters.
I guess we just do that.
You go in,
Yeah.
it is a disturbingly familiar experience.
Same fucking
Again,
place.
same set.
outline. So just like the same, weirdly underground. You can actually, there's one difference. You can see that the cladding around it is different. There is someone has gone to a fair degree of effort to import non-permeable stone to serve as the walls for this below.
Of course.
This area is much of the area is various forms of sandstone, and not necessarily the best idea right next to sea level. But otherwise, yes, it is a disconcertingly familiar experience. You are served quickly, efficiently, and you get a small platter of different foods here. What appear to be
It's so creepy if the food
Yeah.
is the same.
I
I'm
hate
so
it.
glad
I
it is.
hate
No,
it.
there is a maize. There is a maize-based beer that you get instead of the wine, and a small, almost like a little some flatbreads topped with sugared whipped cream and these very large green berries.
Huh. Are we served again by a dwarf?
It is again a dwarf.
Figured.
Amazing.
Just Out of curiosity, since we've been here, have we seen very many other dwarves?
Not really. The majority.
Are they the only dwarves here?
You have encountered like one other dwarf who you
Benny.
see who is working at the docks. Like a lot of the labor force here is, but they are very much a minority. In a minority. Well, here's the thing. Actually, think about where we are. As you get away from the, so in the areas you've been to, no, you don't. But there are some as you get towards the northern end of town. Not in the very nice area. That's mostly orcs. But there is a population, and while the population here, because the thing is, there is a cosmopolitan element to the population. You do see representatives of almost all of the races you have encountered. You don't see any other tieflings, though you are not looked on with shock and dismay, Scamp, upon being seen, like tieflings are heard of here. There is unfortunately the usual amount of people keeping their distance a bit, but no one is throwing stones, and no one is freaking out upon seeing you. You haven't encountered any other drow. There are plenty of humans and halflings. There's a lot of orcs. There is a small population of dwarves. You do encounter a couple of half-elves, with that sort of high half-elven bent to them as well, and of course a number of goblins.
Am I getting looks?
You get a lot of. Depends on where you are. Around the waterfront, not a lot of people are paying you attention. They're busy where they are. Passing through some of the poorer districts, some of the halflings living there, and humans, and of course many of the goblins as well, give you some hard stares. And you can actually, and you do notice one halfling, an elderly-looking halfling, who just, as you come past, he's kind of peeling. He's like shelling corn. And as you come up, just makes eye contact with you and fixes you with a glare, and you see along his neck is the old brand of not a Rothenor mark, but of a drow house mark. Just watches you pass, doesn't say anything, but just glares the whole time.
Yeah, I kind of.
Leah steps up next to you and offers a hand. Just with a steady but just looks
I
like
don't
the calm
take
look.
it, but kind of like squeeze her upper arm and look down.
She nods. Let's see, puts the hand down.
I don't think I meet eye contact
But if
with
you
anyone.
want to,
Like, I
yeah.
look respectfully back if someone glares, and then look down to try and give them whatever space I can.
You make your way on. Once you're back in this sort of waterfronty area, there is the question of you have to take the opportunity to look at the map you have, and you can see that Herbertsville is about it's about 30 odd miles away, to a kind of not quite along the main. Actually, no, it would be along the main river, the Thunder, in fact.
Should we get a boat?
We're paddling
Maybe.
upstream.
You can see that there are a number of barges that lead up that are carrying goods to and fro along the Thunder. There is also a coach house if you wanted to rent the use of a carriage or horses, or you could just walk. There is a fairly well maintained packed dirt road.
I mean, we've not had freaky fucking horses in a while.
I mean, it has been a little while.
It's
I had
been a
an
long
idea.
time.
What was I going to make? I had a good idea and I've forgotten it.
It'll come to you.
Yeah, we've got lots of time.
Okay.
Lots and lots of horses.
In which case, then, if you are ready to depart...
Is there anything else we want to do?
I think getting the sum of our soul was the main thing.
Yeah, I think apart from that, we can go if you're ready. I look at Leah.
She nods. Just not the rabbits again,
Please not the rabbits.
but otherwise...
No rabbits.
Something
do
a
hares.
little... something
We'll
a
do
little
horses
inconspicuous.
to start with, horses to get out of town.
Thank you, Scamp. It's
Spotty
just as a
horses.
precaution, you know?
Spotty horses.
You head to the edge of town, you draw your circles, and what two horses do you create to begin with?
Very, very spotty horses.
Are they just like normal-looking horses, but just covered in spots?
Covered
Polka
in
dot
spots.
horses.
Polka dot horses.
Oh no! Like, but like, do you mean like they have like you know like chestnut mare with like lots of white spots in the coat, or are they literally just covered in spots? Like they're just like coming down with something?
Oh,
No, that'd be gross.
That would be
No.
awful.
Okay,
Oh,
okay. You create a couple of
Like-
chestnut mare.
obscenely polka dot horses.
Okay.
I feel like the polka dots are a little bit too perfect.
yeah, it's still
Yes.
weirdly
Like
within,
perfect
Yeah.
circles, yeah.
yeah, within,
Yes.
within natural horse colours, but polka dotted.
Oh,
Super weird.
I like these ones. They're weird.
They're quite nice, actually.
They're cute.
All right. Leah kind of puts her hand to a word, saddles up with the creepily still horse.
Yeah.
I guess following the standard, she's kind of sharing a saddle, probably with Corzin. You with
Yep.
Celestia with Scamp, and you set out with a clip clop of horses. Is the podcast horse about? Thank you.
Yes.
Off into, well, not the sunset, but into the noon, and onwards south towards Herbertsville. And we will pick up with your journey after these, no doubt important, messages. And now for a word from our friends over at Kids on Bikes.
1965, Swampscott, Massachusetts.
Hey, cousin.
Hey, cousin.
That's Kat and Randall. They're from Texas.
Hi, Mary Sue.
Garrett has a thing for Mary Sue.
It's Mary.
Mary does not have a thing for Garrett. In fact, Mary has a thing, a very secret thing, for Walter Green.
Of course she does.
So does Meg. But none of that matters, because Walter Green is missing.
What
the cuss?
cuss?
You heard me. He's missing, and you're all suspects.
Sir, I believe you're
Suspect.
mistaken.
On what grounds?
I'd like to see your badge, please.
Cousin cusshole.
It's possible Officer Ross isn't looking in the right place. Because Walter, well, he disappeared near the woods. And that group that lives in the woods, they're different.
Hollow, tell him what you told me.
I'm a witch? It's Kids on Bikes, available wherever you get your podcasts.
I know that I like a good wiener. Everyone loves a good wiener. Which is why at Walter Williker Wobbertiddle's Wieners, we can picture a future with a wiener in every home. Oh, and don't forget to like, rate, share, and subscribe to Flintlocks and Fireballs. Check out the Patreon, too. And welcome back. So, you begin the disconcertingly speedy jaunt down to Herbertsville. It is quick. I had forgotten how fast these bloody horses were.
I ruin everything for Jason.
You are
a pain in the ass.
It's not fast travel in, like the Bethesda sense of instantly going place to place, but yeah.
Bethesda?
To Skyrim, Oblivion, Morrowind.
I do not play
Elder Scrolls
Skyrim.
type things.
Fallout.
Like and they're not the only ones, but I tend to associate fast travel a certain amount with them. It's not instant fast travel, but you're certainly beating the living shit out of the people who are moseying along at a steady 4 or 5 miles an hour. For whom. And you do pass. You certainly pass some comparatively very slow-moving barges. You pass some wagons travelling up this road and down it. They look on. A couple of people shake their heads, seeing you racing forwards at what seems to be a rate that will no doubt exhaust and kill your horses, or would if they were living real creatures.
And now they'll be gone.
Poof.
It's not animal cruelty because they're not alive and are incapable of feeling exhaustion or pain.
Leah, however, is the only person who has ever questioned this. The rest of us just got on with it. Leah was like, can they create life? And we were like, we're too stupid to have considered this.
I think Corzin would have always just assumed no, because the ability to create life via magic is terrifying.
I've always just thought drawings that move. Weirdly.
Yeah.
Because they evaporate into chalk dust. So
yeah.
Yep.
They turn back into chalk dust every hour. Proceeding forwards you actually travel at like 13 miles an hour, but there's a period where you have to redraw them. Your journey
Giant
is...
hares.
No.
Polka dot horses, then giant hares.
I hate them.
Must you?
Why are you like this?
Once again.
I want a duck next.
No
I don't want
ducks.
A duck, damn it.
No ducks, they are bastards.
Oh.
Do you make a duck anyway?
Make one duck for Corzin.
What's wrong with its face?
It doesn't sound like a normal duck because it's huge.
What did you do? What noise do you think ducks make? Do you decide what noise it makes?
No.
What's wrong with
It
its face?
doesn't even look like a duck or quack like a duck.
That's fucked up.
There are actually a couple of ducks on the river that look up. They immediately fly away.
Seriously, you can make winged animals. Why can't you just make something good that can fly?
Oh, I can't do that.
The giant...
That'd just be silly, I'm sure.
The giant pseudo-duck tries to fly, but what it ends up doing is, that sort of like run that birds do where they flap their wings and run?
Yes.
It does that.
Like swans.
Oh, the dorky bird run. Yeah, perfect.
Swans on water, yeah.
I'm going to put this out into the universe because I want it to happen. Could somebody draw me Corzin on this duck, please?
I second this.
It'll make me really happy. And
It'll make
you're
me so
probably
happy.
still inside with nothing to do. So please draw me Corzin on this giant duck.
I'm going to write
great.
it down to try and remember because I would love to draw Corzin on a giant
Do I want to
duck.
see it? Be well good.
Also, I'd love to forget that that's why I wrote it and just look back one day and go, Corzin on a duck? What?
Quack.
Corzin on a duck.
Nevertheless, you find yourself journeying with terrible speed and then periodic 20-minute intervals of just sitting and drawing to the south along the River Thunder. As you travel, especially if I can find my map, there we go. As you travel, you pass by, patchwork amounts of fields. This is not yet the heavily agriculture-covered, thickly, densely farmed region that it could be, that might yet come in the centuries ahead. But it's getting there, especially the areas close to the river and those near the coast and near Thunder's Watch are very densely packed with largely corn. There are small amounts of there are a couple of cotton fields, but they don't actually grow as well in this climate as they do in some of the other stretches. It's not bad cotton country necessarily, but for the most part, the fields are otherwise diverted. Not just cotton, of course, there are various greens and the like growing, and a certain amount of pasture land is given over to cattle, sheep. Not so many sheep, though, but quite a lot of pigs. They do like their bacon in these parts. There are villages, communities that you sprint past at the blink of an eye periodically. And in the very, very far distance, just on the horizon, you can see the faint bluish peaks of hills. And when I say the faint peaks, they're almost like little blips that you can just make out that are high enough to be visible over the horizon, but which are surely well over 100 miles away. I think you might be able to see, I think it is still possible to see. Well, might actually depends how high they are, because 8 miles is the horizon level. Okay, we'll say that you can see some hills at least, whether or not these
are we like in the prairies here?
You are basically in the prairies, yeah.
Okay. The sort of place where if your dog runs away, you can see it go for 2 days.
Oh yeah, it is. It is one of those places.
Yeah.
And actually, there's one point where you are pausing, where you're remaking one duck, and is the other one also a duck, or do you go? You're going for a second?
Oh no,
one?
it's a really normal horse.
And a really normal horse, just to annoy Corzin more. You notice there's a lot of holes in the ground.
Leah's on the duck as well, isn't she?
Yep.
Oh, she's pissed.
She's just got this sort of fixed expression when you eventually set going again, just staring forwards.
As if she's in this harrowing situation.
Yeah, not looking at Scamp the whole time.
Like
the duck is just going.
A giant duck to like one of the most terrifying conversations of her life.
Is it like a fluffy yellow duck or a mallard or?
Oh, it's a mallard.
It's definitely a mallard.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's a giant fuck off mallard.
Yeah.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. You notice actually the area around that you kind of, as I said, there is a beaten dirt road worn down, and it's quite firmly packed dirt. This is not just like a track which has come about from lots of people travelling it. It's not a stone road, but effort has been made to tamp down the earth, build it up so that it can resist the many, many wagon wheels that ride over it. So it's that said, though, by the side of it, in this sort of prairie-like area, you notice there's about 60, 70 just small mounds of earth. Just like tiny ones. Like they're about fist-sized, maybe a bit bigger.
What are those for?
I don't know.
Shall I poke one?
Yes.
I'm going to poke one.
Anybody in there?
As you roll up, something pops its head out. It looks kind of like a squirrel, but like a really fat one. As you get close, though, it pops its head back down again.
No, come back.
A few moments later,
weird.
It pops its head up again, about 12 feet away through a different hole.
What's that?
I don't know. I want to be friends with it.
Magic burrow squirrel.
As you go over to it, pops up again somewhere else.
Has Corzin seen anything like this?
Roll a nature check.
I definitely haven't.
You have not.
Okay, that is a 13.
They remind you of moles, but they look like squirrels. You have heard tale, I'll say with the 13, you've heard tale of creatures like this in Sunder, but you don't know the exact name.
Okay, it's something between like a mole and a squirrel. I think we should call it a mirrel.
Agreed. Perfect. Nailed it.
Okay.
I want to be friends with it. Let's catch one.
I've had a thought, and everyone's going to hate me for saying it, but I'm going to. If you catch it, you could make a Marjorie of it.
I had considered it.
Yeah.
I thought that was kind of what you were planning on doing.
I was just going to keep it too, but, also a Marjorie.
Okay. Scamp, as you run over, it pops down, pops up somewhere else.
Hello.
I would like you to make an athletics check to try and catch the Mirrel, as you call it.
Celestia
Can
sits
I
down
assist them?
I do not assist.
Yes, you do assist. The pair of the Scamp is leading this. The pair of you running around trying to catch this little creatures. It's popping up and down like a whack-a-mole.
Celestia sits down cross-legged on the floor, lights up a pipe of tobacco, gets some like snacks out of her pocket, and just watches. Doesn't help.
Okay, well that is a whole 9.
Okay.
Advantage?
I have a -1 in athletics.
Okay.
Okay, I will say that you spend... Well, of course, say this is the first half hour you spend. You are running around trying to catch these things as you're starting to get a little bit out of breath. Every time you get up near one, it pops down, pops up somewhere else. Even with the pair of you, you're continuously trying. You swear it's almost like you can't seem to get hold of it. Do you want to continue trying after this half hour? Are you going to try something else?
I do.
Okay, you're going to give me another roll.
Poor Leah.
Still with advantage.
Fucking hell.
Leah is just like pinching the bridge of her nose, watching. There's a half-finished duck drawing on the floor.
That's a 10.
Scamp, you're startling it.
There's a whole hour that passes as you do this.
Celestia starts soundtracking. It sounds like the backing music.
Yep. You just get your music out. There's one point as you are smoking your pipe and playing the music. You look to the side. There's like 7 holes next to you, and 7 of these little Mirrels all pop up, look at you, look back at them, and pop down again. And as you watch over the course of the rest of this hour, you realise there is a whole family of these little things that are popping up and down, and they look almost identical.
Hold on. Right. Careful. Oh, you got it.
I am up with more than one, darling.
We can catch all of them then. Have a whole family live with us.
I'm not having a family of fucking Mirrels with us. That's not even what they are. That's just.
Look. You only need one of these to make a Marjorie, right?
Yeah.
I think possibly. If you give me about like 10 minutes, I can set a little trap for one of these, catch it without hurting it. And I can bring it to you, and you can do whatever you need to do, and then you can put it safely back in the ground. How's that?
Okay.
Corzin is going to use the hide in plain sight feature from being a ranger.
You take 10 minutes, you kind of sit
This is
down.
such a stupid
Actually, it's
amount
only
of
1 minute.
Oh, you
It's
take 1 minute.
camouflaging
Okay.
himself.
You kneel, you kind of sit down by the
with
edge.
fresh mud and dirt and plants.
Okay, you sit down by the edge of the little, of these little holes.
Like he's got mud around his face and like his tricorns off.
Some of the dry dirt, because the rain has stopped by this point. You paste it around your face. You just take them, hold very still, and then as Scamp is running around, this moment where one just pops up right in front of you, and you reach out and snatch it.
Otherwise, we will be here all day.
You hold it in place, and keep it together while Scamp performs the little 10-minute ritual to bind its form to one of your little red India rubber balls.
I composed a song called "Catch a Mirrel."
Excellent.
Catch a Mirrel.
Catch a Mirrel.
Okay.
Catch a Mirrel.
Add that onto the list then.
Yep. I love being able to say song titles and not facing the consequences myself. Yeah. It's my favourite thing.
Okay. You may add to Marjorie's possible forms Mirrel/prairie dog.
Excellent.
It's Groundhog Day.
Oh, it turns around dramatically and looks at you.
But not
quite either.
Just short enough to avoid copyright.
Yes, that's what I figured. It's not very long.
You eventually release the little Mirrel. It floods back into the ground, and then again, all 7 of them pop their heads up, give you a look before popping back down again.
Marjorie, you can be a Mirrel now.
There's during this whole thing, by the way, the silverfish have been flittering around, spirits have been flittering around, trying to catch them as well. The the Pride Spirit has been just been doing a little, like almost like a little bit of a jig to the music.
Oh, the Pride Spirit's been having a lovely time. Yeah,
it's like knows that this whole thing is fruitless, but yeah, okay.
I imagine the ambivalent octopus has been distinctly apathetic to this entire thing.
Every now and again, it would point with a tentacle, and you'd get there just slightly too late.
Yeah, fat lot of good you were.
He shrugs.
Oh, it's male. Okay.
Oh, sorry. I mean, I've not really said, so possible fluidity. You don't know. Either way, okay. they shrug. But yeah, so after that hour and a half diversion, you mount back up on your giant duck and ordinary horse. Leah is very stone-faced during this, and just sort of. You glance over at one point, Celestia, and you just catch her rolling her eyes. You're still faster than if you'd taken a carriage.
Are you okay?
Fine. We just spent, 90 minutes trying to catch a Mirrel?
I'm so sorry.
You know,
I don't think there's anything that I could have said that would have stopped that happening, though, so I just sort of let it.
I'm the worst.
This is a...
Corzin is enabling you. He is also, by association, the worst.
I don't know what's worse, by the way. The constant sort of honking. Yeah, well, this guy's just like... the constant sort of honking, the terrifying movement, or the fact that it's still so smooth a ride. I feel like I'm gliding forwards.
Yeah, that doesn't feel like it should be a thing, does it?
It's weird. The portion of the duck that Corzin and Leah are on is like the back bit is like perfectly still, and everything else is moving. It's really
this is weird. I don't like it. There should be reins or something.
It comes with a saddle.
If you wanted to.
Where would you put reins on a duck? Be sensible.
Be sensible.
Says the person who cast the duck in the first place, Scamp.
You ride onwards until eventually, with a final last gasp of chalk, the duck disintegrates about half a mile outside of Herbertsville. You walk
about like 2 minutes. 2 minutes after the duck's left, I message Leah. You're missing it.
A little. She brushes herself
giggles
off.
and the other two of you don't know why.
She brushes herself off and you walk on.
I message her again. More seriously, how are you doing? Do you need anything?
All right, let's just carry on.
All right, let me know.
You head up towards Herbertsville. It is by this time a sunnier sort of day. There are occasional clouds, and the wind is still fairly strong, but the rain clouds from the morning, or the overcastness, I should say, has passed onwards elsewhere. So Herbertsville itself it's a reasonably sized town. You would guess there's... Actually, wait. Part of you guesses that there's maybe around 4,000 people here, until approaching you see a sign saying Herbertsville, and it actually helpfully lists 4,234 residents.
Huh.
Is that like normal? The town signs normally say how many people they have in them.
Well, not as such, but I suppose... Is it supposed to attract more people? Or less?
But like what if we stay there for a few days? Do we get added onto the sign? Like, what's the criteria? When does that happen?
No, you'd have to be a permanent resident, wouldn't you?
I've got some chalk here. We can add ourselves in.
Oh, perfect.
It's got to be an estimation, surely.
You just draw a couple of lines on the 4 to make it an 8.
I mean, surely any time someone was born or someone died, they'd have to alter the sign.
Yeah, or somebody just left.
Unless it happened at the same time.
Oh, maybe you're only allowed to be born as long as somebody else is dying. Maybe it's specifically that number of people. Do we have to, kill 4 people to be allowed to stay there overnight? I have questions.
No, we changed the number now.
Ah, it's fine.
But if we see anyone being born...
they gotta go.
We've got to change the sign, is what we have to do.
No, Corzin, we've got to kill them. That's much more sensible.
Corzin face palms.
Baby killing time. Let's do it.
Welcome to Herbertsville, Thunderous Watch County. 1 in, 1 out.
Oh no.
The town is fairly quaint, actually. It is a town, so it's not just one street. There are a number of streets, but there is it's definitely built along this one main street leading alongside the river, with various streets leading off to it. And the houses are again this quite colonial style of architecture. Lots of wood predominates, unsurprisingly, with and interestingly. Thinking about what it would be. No. It would be the standard wood, the local wood. Although this is largely prairie land, there are occasionally, small bits and there are occasionally small copses of trees and the like, which you gather are harvested as needed. But there is that same tendency to whitewash, where in a lot of places, even very simply, just or otherwise in some of the more fancy-looking houses, paint with quite pale sort of tones. So you get things like that sort of eggshell green.
Ooh.
Things
Ice
like
cream
that.
houses.
Yeah.
There are quite a number of them have chimneys. There are where smoke can emerge from. Although the 2-story houses are all towards the centre of this main street, there is another of these saloons that you can see with again the swinging doors.
Yes.
There is various necessary places. There is a blacksmith's. There is actually quite a large carriage house attached to the saloon as well. The saloon, incidentally, you can see has a picture of a broken cartwheel on it, and is named the Broken Wheel. According to the little sign on it. So you get the feeling, and there are actually a few carriages parked at the saloon carriage house. It seems to be a popular destination for travelling up and down the river. The largest building, though, is made of quite sturdy-looking brick, and even has, It has white standing columns. There's a brief moment where the trick of the eye could make them maybe look like they were marble or some fine stone, and nope, this is definitely just a local sandstone which has been painted white to give it a nice sort of impression. The town is doing well, but it's not that wealthy. But this sort of building has something of a stately look to it. There's even they've even put a little dome on the top, from which you can see there is a bell. It does not appear to be the church, however. The church is opposite that, and is again one of the other brick buildings. Actually, no, this wouldn't be a brick building. It is a sturdy building of well-maintained wood, simply whitewashed, quite spare, with a arched roof and the 4-pointed white star over the entryway of the Church of Purity. But you do see opposite it this other more slightly more stately building seems to be, well, you're not really sure, some sort of governmental functionary affair. What would you like to do? Where would you like to go?
Ooh.
Leah,
What?
any
What's our
thoughts?
plan?
Now, isn't it?
I suppose we've got to. Well, I suppose we should try and find him. I mean, we know
Yeah, I
he's
guess-
travelling here, so.
We just
Do we know from which direction? Did any of this look familiar on the way here?
I
you
mean,
look.
that's the
Look.
question for
It
me.
wasn't. None of it. None of the. I mean, like, in as much as you could tell, similar looking features from what is essentially miles of prairie and farmland. Not really. You do know that the way he came wasn't along the river, though.
No, we came along the river. He
Right,
had,
so he was coming
yeah, he
here
had
from a
fields
different
of
direction.
maize. So very different, yeah.
If he, for want of a better term, lives here, then possibly the best place to ask about him would either be the local bars or the town centre, wouldn't it?
I don't know if he does live here or not. Hard to tell. I don't. He looked nervous. I don't know if you look nervous if you're going home.
I mean,
I'm reading into nothing though. We should just look around and ask around, really, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
it's true. I mean, you could be nervous if you were, going to an important business meeting, or if you were going to meet someone like who was a significant powerhouse in the local area. I don't know.
I mean, Leah, do you know him? Do you know where he'd hang about? What sort of places he liked? I don't know if it's even relevant. I don't know where we
I
start.
don't know. I mean, he did like, he liked to, when I knew him, he liked to drink, he liked to dance and sing, and we travelled around a lot just seeing whatever struck our fancy, really. But I don't know.
What does he do as a profession?
Well, he was a joiner.
All right.
Okay.
All right,
maybe,
so
maybe he still is.
Yeah,
that
maybe.
would make sense. All right, so
Joiner who played music.
Well,
any new buildings?
kind of
possibly.
ran away from home a bit. She shrugs.
Fuck me, you have a type, don't you?
That was out of character.
This one was in character, Celestia giggles. We should, I don't know, should we try a bar? See if anyone knows anything?
I mean,
Yeah, see if anyone knows him.
Yeah.
Or find out if he was travelling here, maybe he's staying somewhere. We'll
Or
find out
if there
what
are
the
any-
places to stay are.
if there are any buildings currently in construction here, maybe he's working on them.
Also, if anyone's heard of P. Vandasar, if they haven't heard of him.
Yes.
That's what was on the
Yes.
carriage.
Okay.
So that's the other thing we can ask about if nobody knows who Michael is.
Right.
So you're
Vandasar.
Yeah.
So you're heading up to towards the saloon.
Yeah.
Okay. One moment.
That feels sensible. It's a good place to start as any, frankly, isn't it? Like,
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, fuck it, why not? So as you approach the broken wheel, you actually notice there are some posters on they're in sort of like cheap yellow paper with simple black printing on them. Although there is a face sketched on them as well. And
Is it Michael?
it is not. It appears to be.
that'd be awful,
It
wouldn't
is a rough sketch of a woman. Judging from the bone structure, you'd say halfling. Kind of hard to tell a lot of her features because there is a scarf. There's like a little what's the word? Is it bandana when you wrap a thing across the bottom half of your face?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, like
I know
she's
the
got-
ones that you
yeah,
mean.
she's
Like,
got
a
like-
cowboy one.
She's basically got one
Yeah.
of those. And
Why would
indeed,
you draw a wanted poster of somebody with their face covered?
yeah, but the eyes
they've
seem
never seen the
fairly
real one.
detailed.
Unless the bandana was specifically
Yeah, they
notable.
they
or
don't.
distinct.
You get the feeling that they don't really know what exactly she looks like.
Amazing.
They've got the best guess they can. and it is a wanted, dead or alive, for murder, arson, and grand larceny.
What is larceny?
Theft.
Theft. Oh.
Yeah, grand larceny is like stealing either a lot of money or something that is exceedingly valuable.
Huh.
You notice actually below the grand larceny, there is also and horse theft.
Yeah.
As well.
I mean, in this time period, that'd be a serious deal.
Horses are expensive.
It's like stealing a car, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'd be
Grand Theft Equine. Yeah.
Amazing.
So yeah, there is wanted Mildred Millhill.
Ooh, Mildred Millhill.
Okay, no,
reward,
this is a point.
Reward 400 Osirian crowns for credible information leading to capture, or 400 crowns for 400 crowns or a portion of this bounty for credible capture. An additional 40 crowns per member of her gang captured.
Okay, I have to ask, has Molly mentioned any relation to her of the name of Mildred?
Oh my god, Millhill, yeah.
Let me just think, because Molly has never mentioned a Mildred. But Millhill is a common-ish halfling name.
Okay.
Like, it's not as common as like Smith would be in the UK, but it's like it's like someone
like maybe Williams in Wales.
Yeah.
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 Okay. Corzin is going to say, all right, long shot here, but could you send to Molly and ask her if she has any relations by the name of Mildred?
Why not? I gather all my spirits here. Molly, darling, bandit or something called Mildred Millhill. Any relation? Bit funny if you're related to Bandit. Also, won't arrest her if known to you.
There's a pause. There's a Mildred I know in Caranon, but she'd be 14.
Probably not her then.
Oh, I hope it is.
It'd be funny.
I remember a family branch getting transported to Sunder few decades ago.
Oh, that's more likely, but
I relay this.
Yeah.
Probably not.
All right. Could be, but not a close family relation. All right, fine. Just wanted to make sure, you know how it is.
Because we tend to bump into trouble when there's trouble around.
Yeah, and if we end up getting involved and
the details says also one more line saying credible information or captures, please report to Sheriff O. Peterson.
All right. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't, trying to apprehend my wife's cousin or something.
Oh yeah, no.
It was a fair thing.
She'd murder you with her bare hands. It's very good to check these things.
Also,
and she could.
If it was a relation, I'd probably take her more seriously.
Yeah, honestly, I'd be more scared of her. Yeah.
Well, look. To be fair, the Millhill clan are quite populous. They're a lot more. Well, it's not easy, but they're a lot more populous than the Horhace these days. But yeah, it's Molly's not from aristocracy or anything, but halfling families tend to be quite large, as I'm sure you've noticed.
Looks a lot more fun, to be honest.
Does this mean you're gonna have lots more kids?
I just fold my arms and look over at Corzin
Leah does the same.
with a slight smirk.
Well, possibly, but there's plenty of time for that if we decide to do that. To be honest, though,
Is there? Because you are very old.
You are so old, you're very close to death.
he gives them both a very, very significant look and says, I'll have you know that, if I were so minded, and so was Molly, we could have a great deal of children.
I don't want to know. Oh, ew.
But the point being, right, no, and this is important.
That's
No,
us
this is
told.
important.
What's important?
This is
Go on.
like I say, family isn't always necessarily blood.
Oh,
you know,
now I feel bad.
Now I feel like a right cunt.
Now I'm a dick.
And while, I'm absolutely not averse to the idea of having more children, we've kind of got bigger problems at the moment.
So what you're saying is that you're not averse to having any more children, but you do already have several. Basically.
I have at least one. I think we can all agree on that, can't we?
Yes. I definitely feel like you accidentally adopted a drowner tiefling a little bit.
And, maybe a human of similar age to my son?
Yeah, Clara definitely.
Look,
Come here, you knob. I give him like a one-armed hug. I have to kneel down to do it, obviously. But
he returns it quite ecstatically.
Folds her arms and laughs.
Point being, halfling families, very big, not always blood.
halfling family is very big, not always halflings.
Yes.
Weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
As point of fact.
That was important. You were right. I thought you were going to tell me something about your dick and your fertility, but no, that was actually really nice.
Okay, Corzin is going to look at Celestia very, very pointedly and just sort of blink very, very meaningfully.
I'm fucking with you, it's fine. We were talking about whether you could have more kids.
My parents got to the age I am now.
Yeah. You were talking about whether you could have more kids, and you were like, this is important. I was like, what the fuck is he going to say? Oh, fucking hell. Where's Michael? Gods.
I think, I can't think of the oldest parent I know who had a newborn, but
I don't want to know how fertile.
No, weirdly enough, Norrit had a big family, but
of course he did.
He never married.
Norrit definitely fucked around, didn't he? Let's be honest. He must have done. He's done everything.
Well, probably.
This reward poster.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it capture only? There's no
It is
reward
a
for-
war. It is dead or alive.
Okay.
So you can bring in.
We can't guarantee alive.
Yeah, you can bring in bodies or proof of bodies. How much proof is required is probably a question for the sheriff.
Oh, I'll meet the sheriff. That sounds fun.
Oh, we should meet a sheriff. Look at us, we've changed genre.
Oh, you wait till campaign 2.
I mean,
yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I feel like it's funny because I feel like these characters are still very much not in this genre. So it's like walking into
totally.
another book and being like, "Ooh, tourism."
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
Oh, genre tourism sounds like the best thing.
It does, doesn't
Yep.
it?
D&D, everybody.
Fucking hell. Right.
So we go to the fucking pub.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I think I'm
The
nervous.
broken wheel.
You
I'm
head
just hysteria setting in.
into the broken wheel as the saloon doors swing open. There is again a cheerful banjo player in the corner. And it's by this point it is early afternoon, so there's not too many people in. The banjo player is mostly just practicing. for the evening. Has a jug of a darkish watery substance that you recognise as sarsaparilla next to them, and is busy practicing. But there's still somehow that banjo-esque atmosphere coming in.
Everybody has so much energy here.
And there are,
Awful.
There are a few people sat at the bar drinking. Mostly, there's, let's say, 3 humans, 2 orcs, and a couple of halflings. They have the look, or they wear the kind of shirts, and they have that sort of white shirt, brown suspenders and trousers look of, and general kind of dirt-covered feel of people who are ranchers. Of varying types, and you did notice there were a large number of cattle ranchers and such outside, alongside the cornfields, and as they are sort of sitting and chatting quietly to each other and nursing their drinks. But you see, clearing out a glass as you enter, there is a bald orc man. Again, same sort of cotton shirt, suspenders look. But with he's got grey skin, and though you do notice he is missing one ear, and instead has a tiny little copper horn, like an ear trumpet, instead. Looks up as you enter. Well, howdy.
Howdy doody.
Sorry, you have to speak up a bit, deaf in one ear.
Howdy doody.
Howdy doody dear.
Hello,
Welcome to the Broken Wheel.
Broken Wheel. Good name.
Pleased to be here.
You do see actually over the bar, there's it's one of those bars that's got like all the bottles behind it. There is a broken cartwheel over the bar.
Huh.
Is that the wheel in question?
Yeah, that's just the one where I lost my ear.
Oh.
How?
That
What happened?
Must be nasty for you.
Used to be a farrier, shoeing horses. Then one of them buggers kicked me in the side of the head.
Ow.
Broke that.
Nasty.
I fell right over. I broke that wheel, and I decided I was sick and tired of that job.
Fair.
That honestly seems entirely sensible.
So, what can I get you?
Well,
What's the local drink of choice? With you.
Yeah, I'd say looks between you. For the 3 of you, we'll probably just do got a good old-fashioned whiskey.
Sounds lovely.
And for you, young one, you'd be wanting some sarsaparilla, right?
Yeah.
It's sugary. You'll love it.
Pours you your respective drinks, charges you 4 coppers.
I'll do it.
I got this.
Okay.
No, you got the last one. Let me get this one.
Your turn. Good.
Seem well the orc in question.
What's your name?
Name's Johan.
Celestia Stardust. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure. The
Corzin
barman
Horhace, thank you.
seems chipper enough that you do, as ever, when you walk into place, get a number of looks from the various figures drinking. They give you a bit of space. It's less like we want to get away from you. We're afraid. Just we want to carry on our conversations on our own. So they shuffle along the bar a bit and continue muttering to each other.
Not necessarily hostile though.
Not hostile. You do get looks because
I'm
you are an eclectic quartet.
Oh, we're fucking bizarre to look at, all of us.
What is the general makeup of the bar? Mainly human, mainly halfling? What are we looking
Human orc halfling, basically.
Okay.
It's literally just those, like I think 7 people I mentioned. The rest, it's not quite late enough in the day for most of the crowd to be in.
Okay.
But you have seen people walking around, and it's mostly been humans and orcs. A couple of halflings that you've seen.
We're actually looking for someone. I don't know if you could help us.
Sure.
Don't happen to know Michael John Boot, do you?
Boot.
Brown hair, green eyes. Last time I saw him, green waistcoat, white shirt.
Chap with the fancy hat.
Yes, excellent green hat. That's the one.
Oh, sure. He checked in just an hour or 2 ago. paid fee for parking up the carriage there. I think he had some business at the town hall.
The town hall. Okay.
Gestures.
Was that the fancy one?
Yep, that'll be the one.
The one with the dome.
Right.
Yep.
Right.
It's a mighty fine
Thank
town
you.
hall we got.
Oh, it's lovely.
Some people think, they think we ain't much compared to Thunder's Watch, but, Herbertsville's got its pride, and we're a humble folk, but we do well enough. Although,
Seems like an up-and-coming place.
although, pride is a deception, and as the pastor likes to say.
Is it?
Quite so.
Oh, yeah. Pride leads you off the straight and narrow path.
What is the straight and narrow path? Where are you going on it?
Whoa, oh, forgive me. I don't know what. Sorry, I've never met a drow before. Do you follow the? I guess you're from Jova, from the accent. So you're from Regency?
No.
Oh, right. Well.
Look up Dionysus. You'll have a good day. But
Ain't
not
never
not
heard of
really anything, to be honest. Preferably not.
Well, yeah, it's just, you live a good life, and when you die, you go and rejoin the will.
Right.
Like everyone.
Because that's quite Regency, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, but, the region themselves ain't all that. They're just like one way to get back to the pastor had no more to talk about.
Interesting.
Yeah.
He and I have our differences about the alcohol. He prefer people didn't drink, but I say, in moderation, it's all fine.
Yeah. It's booze, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fine.
Everything in moderation.
Of course.
Except murder.
He
isn't making eye contact with anyone.
He shrugs a little at that. I don't know. You seen the posters outside? Maybe a little moderate murder. Not from them, I understand, but, well, sometimes you got some bad eggs and you just gotta crack it.
And make an omelette.
I like your saying.
Where is this metaphor going? Bandit omelette?
The point is, sometimes there's real killers out there like that Mill Hill, and, well, you gotta make sure
you make a bandit omelette and serve up some justice.
That's right. I like my justice sunny side up.
I'm so confused.
So she kind of this frowns and looks into the distance. Maybe I like my justice hard-boiled. I don't know.
He nods.
I've never tried it.
He nods as if you're saying
supposed to
something
have done?
like very significant. Just sort of nods. Yeah. What?
I don't know.
Right, you're just as ear trumpet.
So what's this Mill Hill supposed to have done? And she has a gang, apparently?
Oh, yeah. Cattle rustlers, for the most part. Picks up a whole bunch. They've been causing trouble around these parts, and a few of the other colonies as well. Riding up and down. The usual stuff. I heard they've been holding up carriages, that sort of thing, stealing cows. Just a bunch of no-good types, First I heard there's quite a number of them, maybe as many as, some say, maybe 30 or 40.
Oh, wow.
Oh, quite a lot, then.
That's a big gang.
Yep.
That's a lot of fireballs.
Oh, you heard then, did you?
I feel like everyone just turns to Scamp and looks at
Imagine,
them.
Yeah, no, when she launches those fireballs, I've seen her set... I've heard that she sets fires to the whole thing.
Is she magic?
He nods, yep, it's heard it. Tale tells she used to be an army officer.
Oh.
That makes sense.
Rebel army mage. I haven't
Back
seen
in the
that'd
day.
be a threat.
That's why they got such
was
a big bounty up there the governor agreed to pay.
Who was she in the army with?
Shrugs. Yeah, it just used to be part of the guard. It used to be, as I understand it, part of the, the redcoats down here, same as up at the fort. He kind of thumbs towards the door as if to indicate a direction, but it's he's just thumbing generally.
Corzin will say under his breath to the other to the others present, if it's an Orsirian mage, then Orsiria annexed Halfland a little while ago, and yeah, probably a halfling mage. Just so you know.
Alright, good to know. I think we have more pressing tasks though, don't we?
Yeah.
Yes, quite.
Just keep an eye out on the roads,
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, thank you for your help. You've maybe made our job scarily easy.
Yes, thank you very much. You've been very helpful. No worries. Goes back to cleaning his glassware.
Turn to Leah. You ready?
Okay.
Town hall?
Town hall.
Town hall.
We go.
You step out into the street, and almost immediately, as you turn, you see stepping out of the town hall.
Oh no.
Oh god.
Alongside, there is a human man, short brown hair, green outfit, Michael. Wide-brimmed green hat in this case, and he doesn't notice you at first, but as he turns to go towards the saloon, he stops. Just freezes stock still. The briefcase just drops to the ground by his side. Leah? Michael? She takes a step forward. He takes a step back for a moment, then... Is it really you? Yes, it's me. He looks for a moment to the side at Celestia. Back to her. See, it's just a moment again of step back and then seems to recognise what you're wearing. Doesn't seem to connect. Takes a couple of steps forward. Oh, by the Regent. He runs forward, she runs forward, and the pair of them embrace tightly. I never thought I'd see you again. No, I didn't either. He pulls back, takes out the handkerchief from his pocket, wipes his eyes. Bloody hell. How did you find me? I had help. She turns and gestures to the three of you.
Give a little wave. Just like a small,
Hello.
polite one.
So does Corzin.
Double takes a little bit at the sight of Scamp. Bloody hell.
Really? I'm the shocking one here? Never mind.
Not seen a tiefling in months. It's but seems to recover quickly. Well, thank you. Walks up, picks up the briefcase, steps back. Hello, thank you. I'm Michael.
Celestia
Pleased
Stardust.
to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you. I put out a very polite hand.
Hesitates.
It's okay if you don't want to. I get it.
Corzin
Reaches
does the
the
same.
hand out to you, Celestia. His hand shakes a little bit, but he does briefly shake your hand before almost pulling back. It's nice to meet you. And a much more stable handshake with Corzin. Lovely to meet you. And holds a hand out to Scamp.
Scamp, hi.
Ah, pleasure. She looks between the four of you. Wait a minute. Sorry, what was your name?
Celestia.
Just say something again.
Hello? Yeah, that was me.
She sent to you.
His eyes are widened.
I didn't do it again because it scared you so
hell.
much the first time.
Oh, bloody hell. So you're...
I'm sorry I freaked you out.
So you're
A friend of Leah's.
Right. Leah nods. She can do a bit of magic.
It was the only way we had to contact you.
Oh, bloody heck. I thought I was just going mad.
No.
Well, come here. Just let's not be shaking hands. Let me give you all a hug.
Oh, it's awkward. Oh, it's really awkward, isn't it? I stiffen up and don't know what to do.
His hug to you is really awkward as well, but you get this feeling like he's trying to force through this. And
You're welcome. It's fine. I think we need a place we can all kind of catch up and get on the same page, if you follow me.
Would you two like a fucking minute? Because...
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go
Gods.
away. You have some...
yeah, I mean,
You go somewhere, take some time.
I guess we can. Yeah, or Leah.
We're in town, like...
Yeah, we're not going anywhere. Just you take all the time you need.
I mean, we can. Yeah, let's talk and come back to the farm afterwards. But right, well, Leah, let's. He offers a hand. She hesitates a moment before taking it, but smiles. I guess we'll take a walk around town a little bit and come back.
Maybe
in
back
a
at the
little bit.
saloon later if you want to.
That works, yeah. Saloon? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I'll send to you if I don't see you. If you want to go somewhere else, just let me know by sending, no
Thank
problem.
you. Yes, of course, Celestia.
Just so we don't lose you, that's all.
Yeah, there's bandits
Leah
about.
smiles and reaches out to you as if to hug you, and then with one hand sort of awkwardly pats you in the shoulder and gives it a squeeze.
How I picture it is that I reach back to her shoulder and do the same thing, just briefly.
She smiles. Thank you.
Least I could do.
We'll see you shortly.
Mm-hmm. I just messaged you her. Best of luck. I'll check in later if you need anything. Anything you need, let me know.
Thanks. She takes a breath. So... They ask at the same time, how have you been? And they both laugh and start walking off. There's a slightly tentative, but there's a handhold as they walk off and start to talk a little bit about how they got here.
Corzin will put a hand very gently on Celestia's knee and say, "Are you alright?"
No.
Let's be somewhere else then. Come on. And he'll offer his hand.
Alright.
And lead her back towards the saloon. And if we get there, sit down in a slightly more secluded part that allows them some privacy.
Alright, you head back to the saloon. You head in, take a seat at there's a little corner booth you can get into. The banjo player is busy retuning his banjo and does not provide weirdly inappropriate music.
What are you drinking?
whiskey.
Right. Corzin goes and gets a generous measure of whiskey from the bar.
You pay 2 coppers, get double.
Done.
Did I do alright?
You did great.
You did fantastically.
I wanted to make it easy.
You did. No, honestly. And I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. Ooh, I really thought this wouldn't be that bad.
Well, that was silly.
It's fucking hard, Celestia. It really is. I
feel selfish for it to be hard.
No. Look, this is a very, very complex situation, and you've done so wonderfully with it. I've never actually been in this situation myself before, as it will hopefully surprise you to know. But really and truly, I can't, in anything else other than good conscience, say that you've done the right thing here, and you deserve to be recognized for it.
You know what's really hard, which isn't fair at all? She looked really happy. Like, really uncomplicatedly happy. Which understandably isn't a look I've seen on her a lot.
No, I can imagine not. But...
And I'm happy for her, but it's still hard.
Yeah, so hard.
I wouldn't want anything different for her.
No, I don't imagine so, but... Celestia, not wishing to pry into your past, but is this the first time you've seen someone who you've been romantically involved with happy, genuinely happy with someone else?
She's the only person I've really been properly romantically involved with, so yeah.
Alright.
That's a bit sad, but...
No, goodness knows it's not. No, not at all. Even if we leave aside the obvious thing of the Underdark is its own huge pile of fucked up. This is something that a lot of people go through. And it's not bad, but it's hard.
Yeah. Even when it's definitely the right thing, it's...
Yes.
Kind of awful.
I think that probably makes it harder.
I think it does.
Absolutely, yes.
Just,
it does.
Knowing that I wasn't the right thing is really selfishly difficult, actually.
It's not even that you weren't the right thing.
I wasn't.
Who is to say on that count? But honestly, look, you loved Leah, and still do, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Earnestly. And one of the big overriding things when you love someone is that regardless of anything else, you want them to be happy. Whether or not that is with you or with anyone else, you just want them to be happy.
Yes.
Because they mean that much to you.
But it's hard when they can be happier with somebody else than they can with you.
Yes it is.
But it's right.
And you've done so bloody well, I can't even explain it to you.
So I think I maybe need to be a mess for a little bit, so that when we meet them later I can put on a face.
Please.
Because I don't want to make this hard.
No, and you're not. Remember, you're not.
But
you're here, you're doing what you're doing because it is right, and because it is in keeping with your values. do what you need. We're here. We don't have any other pressing engagements, do we?
No, I guess not.
Come on then. And he just very gently squeezes her hand. You know what you were saying earlier about family?
Yeah.
About it being not necessarily based on blood? Well, I think this is an example of that.
Definitely. The return of Corzin Horhace, Love Doctor. Oh, Scamp, you're asleep for the first one.
Oh no, I missed it. I'm sad. Now I get to see it in all its glory.
Well, am I wrong?
No.
No, you're always horribly not wrong.
I mean, I am the first to admit I don't know everything. But, all of my experience tells me that you are doing the right thing here, and it's fucking difficult, and I cannot do anything other than support and admire you for it.
It's the only thing to do. The whole situation was fucked. Also, on another level, at least one fucking couple got back together that was fucked up by my lot.
They were fucked up by Drow. They weren't fucked up by you by extension. I know that seems like
my lot, I said.
Yeah, I know.
My family, specifically. Actually.
True. However, it's not anything you can take upon yourself, and please don't. I know it's tempting. I know that it's the easiest thing in the world probably right now to think, but no.
With this one, I think I do a little bit. And that's alright. I think it is... I'm not sure I can have lived the life I did without it being a little bit my fault. And that's okay. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to make amends. And you're not going to talk me out of this one.
Well, look, I'm not going to try and talk you out of it, but all I will say is that for my money you already have.
No, not enough. It's a beginning. But it's not enough.
Fair enough.
Not sure it ever can be, but I'll keep doing it.
And that should tell you all you need to know about your character.
If you could... not.
What?
You always do this. Whenever I get too upset about something, you always tell me what a good person I am, and it just... I hate it.
I'm sure there are things in your past that you desperately regret. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but I'm saying that you shouldn't define yourself by them. You know, we've all done things we regret. And I'm not saying that, you know...
Some things you can't make up for, darling. And this is one of them. There are so many others. And...
if you didn't think it was possible to make up for them, then Why would you even be here doing this?
Corzin, shut up.
No, genuinely. This is a reasonable question, isn't it?
That's not... It's not why we do these things. We do it so we can add some good. You can never take away the bad.
Well, absolutely. I'm not saying that,
We're gonna go around in circles here, darling.
Alright.
Would it help if I told you you're a terrible person? Oh, you deserve to be sad forever.
Marjorie seems to agree.
Marjorie just
Marjorie
fixes
thinks
you
everyone's awful.
with a beady eye. Doesn't break eye contact, just flutters down to the table, walks right over, and just takes a drink out of your whiskey.
Oh, I thought that was a fucking power move. Marjorie, don't you know I'm sad as shit? I need this whiskey.
Celestia, you... not...
Well, I think it's the longest speech we've heard from Marjorie, to be honest, but okay.
Yeah.
Not to put too fine a point on it, but you've got longer than any of us to make things right.
Yeah, you have a point.
I'm not saying that, like, immediately they should be, but I'm also saying that it is important to recognize that you're not the person you were. I know that sounds silly, or possibly a bit obvious, but there it is. You're not even the person we met initially. I'm not saying that necessarily that's
I was a dick when you met me.
No, you were just ignorant of the wider world, and you've grown a lot since then. I mean, we couldn't have had the conversation we had even with the merchant we had just before we came here without that. But my point being is that even though you don't necessarily excuse the things you've done in your past, if you're serious about making the world a better place and making amends perhaps for what you've done in the past, then you have to accept that you're not the same person who made those mistakes. That you are a better person than the person who made those mistakes. And that even if it takes 100 years, 200 years, whatever, that's what you're dedicating yourself to, and that is what you should be judged by, not by what you... I mean, you're 32. You've done so little in regards to the amount of life you possibly can have. I really don't think that necessarily it's the thing you should be holding yourself ultimately accountable to.
You're very sweet.
Thank you. But I hope you get the point I'm trying to make here.
I get the point. I just don't think that... I don't think the person that does the stuff wrong is the one that gets to make the call on how much time has passed.
Maybe not.
I think...
But nevertheless...
I think you just gotta keep going.
Well, exactly. You're doing what you're doing.
You glance over. You see the banjo player seems to have finished restringing his banjo. Glances between banjo and piano. The moment where it seems to be deciding, puts it down for a little bit.
Am I the person I was before?
Are you the person you were before? I don't think any of us
or
are
am
we?
I some form of weird copy? placed and different and weird.
Well, look.
Times are tough. What?
Jeffrey goes.
No, you're you, Jeffrey. Don't worry.
Let's not talk too hard about weird copies of ourselves.
Sorry.
Fair point. But look, in answer to your question, Scamp, I mean, you're never exactly the person you were. But if you can't look back on something you did in the past and think, oh gods, what was I thinking? Then can you really be said to have developed, have changed at all?
We've all developed a lot, haven't we?
Well, exactly. That's my point. That's exactly my point, isn't it, Celestia? We have.
I regret nothing. I have never done anything wrong in my life. I am lovely.
Yes, of course.
Jeffrey agrees.
I wish I was more like you, lovely
No,
little
you
weirdo.
don't.
I do.
No. I'm full of regrets and sadness.
Look.
But they're mostly covered by sugar, so it's fine.
I'm going to pull the oldest person here card for a second and say that if I didn't have regrets about things that I had done in my past, I wouldn't be the person I am today.
Boo with your sensibleness. Boo with your logic and your reasonable arguments.
You're properly a dad right now, do you know that? Possibly even a granddad.
You are old enough to be my granddad, did you know that?
Well, I'd always kind of suspected, but I mean,
if you got in there early, you could be my granddad. You're 30 years older than me. Like, that's not actually ridiculous.
No, it isn't. That's
no. That would not
terrifying.
work. I can't do numbers. That'd be insane.
Only by halfling reproductive cycles.
Yeah, true, actually.
True. Look.
No, that still doesn't work. You'd have to be like...
Corzin sort of buries his head in his hands for a second and says, look, all right. Now, you remember what I was saying earlier about family? Well, it's, in the situations where family is not necessarily blood, it doesn't actually, the same rules that apply to blood family don't apply to non-blood family. And honestly, look, you only have to look at, and he gestures to the wanted poster outside. And so,
there's another one on the inside.
That may well be some distant relation of Molly's. It just goes to show, blood is far from everything.
Maps made of skin. People maps.
A very good example.
Can I just point out the people maps once more?
I wish that my whole family was here so that I could just gesture at them.
That's a very, very good example.
Shall I pretend to be them?
Yes.
Ooh, scary and disapproving.
Oh shit! My mother's here. Get her away!
Manic and unpredictable. Definitely like a sociopath, I think. Is that even the right one?
We should check on that whip at some point, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
See what's
what was
happening
the other
with that.
one?
Dead inside.
Brooding and dead inside.
Adrian, what are you doing here? Shit. Fuck! I hope somebody's fucking scrying on me right now. How good would that be? Oh.
It would be the moment, wouldn't it?
Be amazing.
Hang on, hold on. Just if you can, double check. I'm interested now.
What do you mean?
He says, if it is at all possible for you to check whether or not someone is scrying on you right this moment.
I'm not sure that's a thing you can do, darling.
Corzin raises a middle finger to the air just randomly on the off chance.
Too.
I think there is a way. I'm sure I read about it, but I can't do it.
Oh yeah, what is that?
You gotta there's
roll
something
an Arcana check. Both of you can.
18.
Ooh, hello. That's quite good. 25. Sorry, I can't add up. It's
So,
because Robbie had just said 50.
This is actually a thing that you do remember from your urban guard training, because you were partly taught an element of how to sense an improperly constructed scrying and break it, which is what your siblings have been doing when they noticed you scrying on them. But you are aware that a properly constructed scry is still there in the same way as an improper one, but is imperceptible to normal senses. So normally when you sense one, you can kind of break it. But a properly constructed one may or may not be possible for you to like break by will the same way that you do when you essentially succeed in your wisdom save. But there is still something there doing the scrying. It's just functionally invisible.
I mean, like... Can I,
But if you can see invisible stuff.
concentrate really hard and see if I can tell if anything's there?
Give me a perception check.
Fuck it, why not?
With-
5?
I was going to say with disadvantage, but fuck it, just in case you get a 1.
Disadvantage?
Yeah, you're trying to find an invisible
Nah.
thing, which may not exist.
Yeah, oh, actually, it's not 5, it's 7, sorry.
You can't sense anything.
I can't tell, but I'm not sure
Freak.
that's really a thing.
Just like focus, you scurry your brow. Wait, you can feel something. Something, you fart. In the background, the pianist finally makes a decision on his instrument.
I might buy more whiskey.
Carry on.
Okay. You do. You
I'm
kind
gonna
of.
buy a bottle of whiskey
Yeah,
and
you
bring
signal.
it over.
Johan comes by. Whiskey's is fairly cheap out here in the States. It's a silver for a bottle.
That's well cheap.
It's not high quality whiskey, but like, and it's a smaller bottle.
If
but
Celestia gives a shit. come on.
But yeah, it's some decent gut. It is some decent gut rot. As the pianist changes up his track and starts playing a different tune, you see Leah and Michael enter the saloon. Michael exchanges a brief word with Leah and wanders over to the bar. Leah comes and gives you a little wave.
How's it going?
Sits down. Ooh, kind of strange but good. We've done a bit of a... Where have we been? Light on the details, but I talked a little bit about the three of you. She glances at Scamp's shoulders. The 5 of you. Yeah, I haven't talked much about them. Anyway, I think he just thinks you like animals.
Yeah, it might be easiest.
Yeah. I've skipped over some details.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has as well, but yeah, it's good. You see Michael return with a round of whiskies and a sarsaparilla, and a little bowl of water as well, which he puts down. Like, I assume your bird and your monkey want a drink.
We have to keep Jeffrey away from the drink. He's developing... You're developing a habit, Jeffrey.
Marjorie flutters down, pecks a bit of water, starts drinking a bit of the water. Heh, quite a tame pigeon you got there.
She's very intelligent.
Right, do you mind if I take a seat?
Yes, by all
Jack
means.
sits down with you.
So, how long have you been here?
About... Here, better part of 9-10 months. Yeah, Leah's been filling me in on the details. I didn't realise. I guess thank you. She told me how you helped her escape from down below, and all of that. Leah gives you a significant look and kind of nods slowly.
I almost don't even return the significant look.
Yeah,
I just go on as though nothing has happened.
And how the three of you sort of helped her. I mean, bloody hell, Regent's tits. Really? The Kraken?
Yeah, that happened.
It did definitely happen.
Fucking hell.
It's no myth.
That's... like...
It was a lot.
No.
It was physically a lot as well. Yeah.
Sounds like you got out by the skin of your teeth.
Honestly, I don't know how Leah's ship got out to this day, to be honest.
Leah says, I think it was just busy, I suppose, eating everyone else, really.
I think literally good luck. I don't think... I honestly have no idea. I don't think all the other ships did.
Well, either way...
It was only a ship we saw making it out of there.
No, and apparently you're pirates? But,
yeah.
But like good pirates.
Nice pirates.
Okay.
I hope.
Cool.
I mean, Leah was a nice pirate as well.
Oh, yeah. She looks over, she shrugs. Well, I mean, you said you're in the business of freeing people, so...
That's right. Yeah.
No, that's pretty nice by my standards. We haven't talked a lot about it, but some of... Back when, the others would tell stories about ships with red sails.
Yes.
Have you heard of them?
Yeah.
That's...
We've heard of them.
A lot.
Yeah.
Bloody hell.
I mean, Leah's lot, technically we're sort of still...
You did pass your probation.
Initiation / probation? Yeah.
You participated in a raid, you got the sails, you're part of it. Yeah.
I can't look at it like, are we part of the club now? Is that a thing?
Corzin nods, yes, most definitely.
Good.
We got them a whole boat.
Yeah.
I think that's
we
what
did
it
get
counts.
them a whole boat.
What's the point?
Yeah. And we have red sails now, we count.
I mean,
yeah.
I thought that might be the case, what with gestures to Scamp. Because there's been stories of a ship full of tieflings freeing people.
There's two now.
Yeah.
Oh.
Ours is the better one.
I would agree.
Right. Oh, I suppose he winces a little, takes his handkerchief, furrows his brow. I suppose mine's been well, not boring, but less interesting.
Have you had your own brush with slavery?
There's a moment where Leah folds her fist up in...
Causing bad, awful questions.
So
Let's just brush over that.
No, it's fine. I get the feeling you haven't got the full details there. So Leah and I were taken at the same time. Back in Brighthall. When we were travelling through Brighthall, must have been back end of 1796. We went down below and we got separated. I got sold. I worked in the mines for a few months, and then they, sold me up the river, put me onto a ship, and I and a bunch of others made it to here. Kind of makes a waving motion with his hands to brush the things aside. Anyway, we ended up on. Well, it's technically the Von Spearthrust plantation. It's one of the few cotton plantations down this end. Most of them are actually, there's like two bands of them, from what I've heard. There's a bunch to the north and a bunch to the bunch to the very northeast, a bunch to the very southwest. The southwest ones used to belong to Seoul. There was apparently a whole war or something. I missed it for the most part. But no, it's actually the farms and everything around it was owned by a chap called Percival van der Sar.
Right.
Oh, right.
Who, between you and me, was a bit of was kind of a mean-hearted old prick in some of his ways, but he got sentimental. Anyway, he was pretty ill, and for whatever reason, he took a shine to me. So, brought me off the fields and into the house, and I kind of became his nurse for the last few months of his life. Like I say, vicious old bastard. But apparently, turns out he had a better liking of me than I thought. Eventually, it was the cancer did him in. Turns out, even with man had a lot of money, but the sort of magic that clerics can do doesn't work on that. There's a few. Apparently, they can cure a lot of diseases, but there's a few things it just doesn't work on. Also, allergies. Apparently, does shit all for allergies.
That seems shit, doesn't it?
He shrugs. Don't know why, but Percival certainly had a lot to say about it, with some very colourful languages. Anyway, he shuffled off this muscle coil, and then the will came out. And that was a surprise.
Oh.
What did he will
He left me.
to happen?
Well, he freed me, and he left me the whole thing.
Fucking hell.
Oh, wow.
I mean,
Bloody hell.
literally the whole spread of estates.
Wow.
The family have been contesting the will, as you might imagine, but apparently he really hated them. I mean, he really hated them.
Are his family back in Jova or here?
No, they're elsewhere. They're actually apparently the Vandasers are some pretty big wigs here in Sunder, and apparently I have inherited a large section of their income.
Wow.
Yeah. So this has been in apparently we've had a whole legal thing going on for the last for the last month since that happened. Obviously, first thing I did, freed everyone. Marissa had a fit about it. We're not. It takes a moment to holding up a hand to Leah. She's kind of the business manager. She worked for Percival. Came with the farm. But I put my foot down and I said, no, we've got to free everyone. That's bloody insane otherwise. And she said, all right, I'll make it happen. She's very good like that. You say some things and she says, okay, I'll make it happen, and then it happens. Very efficient. Lots of details I don't really understand. But anyway, I gave the order and, well, everyone's free now. A lot of people kind of still working there, but, I said we've got to pay them wages and, once... Because I guess where else have you got to go? So she said, Marissa's been harping on at me about how the margins are cutting down, but, it's bloody slavery. So, yeah, I guess it turns out I'm now a man of means.
Good for you, honestly.
Yeah.
No,
You deserve a fucking break.
No, this whole thing was about getting a last word. I say why I came into town today. I came in to talk to Judge Peterson and get the final wording, and he gave out the final ruling that no, according to the wording it was, and the documents, and he taps the briefcase. It's all legit.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
Apparently we've got-
congratulations.
It feels a bit weird. It's
Yeah.
just luck, but I guess I've got to.
Most things are.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like you and Leah didn't have very good luck, so good for you.
Yeah. And I guess now we can. Become. I don't know. I don't know what it means, but I guess it's there if he looks up. Yeah. It's all very strange. Very strange. There's her eyes. Oh. We've been through a lot of stuff. This feels very strange. It's like you
don't
know,
doubt it.
Yeah, it's like you. She shakes her head, staring at the table. Takes one of her sip of whiskey. I mean, I've got the carriage. I was going to head back. It's about a day. It's a couple of days out to get there. But if you wanted to come with, I mean, all of you, I'd be very happy to have you. To have you by.
Don't know. Maybe.
Is this the same road that's full of bandits?
I mean, maybe the Mill Hills lot I've heard of move around a lot, but they were sighted sort of in the area.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of trusting to a fast carriage to get me by, but.
Well, if you have a fast carriage, that's.
I mean, it's a fair one. It's a fast. You get the sense you saw his carriage when you were inside it. It's all right. It's probably fast. It's not like it's still a carriage. It's still a 2-horse carriage.
Yeah.
I just like at any moment where he looks away, I just message to Leah like, "So I'm struggling socially. What do you want? Do you want us to come?"
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's okay not to know. Maybe I don't know.
Apparently, there's a whole. Yeah, there's a whole like I don't know if it's mansion or what. I just.
Wow.
Well, again, not trying to force this in any one direction here, but if we were to accompany you and we were set upon by these bandits, we're quite handy.
I mean, under the circumstances, I'd certainly appreciate that sort of thing. I mean, within the farm, I say the farm, it's bloody acres and acres of like estates. Just sounds weird saying that. We're nice and we're fairly well protected, but it is a bit of a long trek. If you can spare, a day and a half, couple of days.
Again, I just sent to Leah. Leah, help me. What do you? Is this? This is so weird. I don't know what to do.
Corzin looks at Celestia.
Celestia's messaging Leah.
You see Celestia's mouth moving and just shaking her head, looking bewildered.
Yeah, I'm a lot more subtle than I'm being in person.
Yeah. You can see the sort of quick whisper because message, unlike the message ones that you have in your helmets.
Yeah.
You do your lips do need to form the words.
Yeah, like a little tiny bit. I do it as little as possible.
Yeah, so you've just got the little whisper. But Corzin, you know what to look for and you see it happening.
All right, Corzin will message to Celestia using
your hat.
his hat. All right. Feel absolutely free to shoot this down, but if we were to accompany these two back to the family estate and be set upon by bandits, which we then overcame, that's good income for us, right?
Not really top of the priority list. Just want to check what Leah even wants at this point.
Of course.
Yeah, overlaid with Corzin's response, I have no idea what I want.
Would point out is that if they get got by bandits because we're not there, that's a problem.
Oh, they hate not being selfish. It's the worst.
There's a really awkward moment where Michael is like...
It goes silent and
Michael's
everyone's just
realised
staring awkwardly into space.
Everyone is like glancing at each other and no one's talking and he's like... Takes a sip, just takes the whiskey, sip.
Okay, Corzin noticing this will say, so, Michael, what is your preferred beverage?
I've got to say I've quite taken to the whiskies around here. It's apparently a lot of them come out of these big halfling-owned
there's a
distilleries.
whole bottle. Have at it.
They're quite sweet, aren't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
While this conversation is going on.
Is it Bourbon they're calling it? Or Bourbon? There's apparently a big war between the two distilleries.
Burr or bun, it doesn't matter. It's still gonna...
I'm gonna message Leah.
I'm also messaging Leah.
So make your liver regret it.
Leah, Celestia's being weird, understandably. Would you like us to come so you don't get got by bandits?
You just hear a sort of high-pitched, under the breath, ah!
Is that from Leah?
Yeah, just from Leah, just like, ah!
I messaged Leah again. We could play for time. We could say, let's spend a night here and then decide what to do if you want.
Leah just puts slaps a palm down on the table. You know
jumps
what? You should
skin.
all just come back with us. Sounds great. I mean, wouldn't that be great, Michael? I haven't seen this. I haven't seen the farm yet. I don't know what it's going to be like. It'd be nice to have my friends around. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we could be an escort. Make sure you're all right
happily
in
to
that.
join you. Yeah.
Great, fantastic.
Maybe you two can ride in the carriage together, and we can go on our horses.
Oh, you've got horses of your own. Fantastic. Yeah, Leah mentioned.
Yes. I'm going to say yes. Yes.
We do.
She didn't really talk about how you got it. For the purposes of this conversation, we'll say horses. That's weirdly specific, but okay.
I mean, it's broadly accurate.
Well, at least you maybe won't be got by bandits by the time we get back.
Not if we have anything to say about it.
That's all right.
I messaged Leah one more time. I'm so sorry. I have no idea how to deal with this.
okay,
I'm
let's
trying to
just-
make it easy, but it's
It's
God.
fine. Let's just get through this.
Corzin, how do we talk to people?
Again,
Do you
conversation
message Corzin
lulls.
with that?
Yeah, conversation lulls for a moment. Michael just takes a sip.
All right, Corzin will say, look.
Celestia pours herself like a slightly too big glass of whiskey.
Not to blow our own horns here, but we are fairly capable people, and we are aware.
Out loud.
Corzin gives you a side eye, and
Sorry,
then
what's that about
continues.
horns?
Look, we are
Does the
fairly
musician
capable
have
people,
a horn?
and given
Is that
that we've got
Well, it just
this
seems
far,
like
it would
banjos to me.
seem irresponsible of us
I thought I
not
heard a horn.
to accompany Leah at least to
You're
your
right.
homestead.
You kind of look like you're halfway focusing
so
on
that
something
we can
else
be
there,
sure
Scamp.
that she is safe.
I thought I heard an angel.
You can smoke in saloons, can't you?
Yes.
I'm gonna just casually light up the pipe. of
It's
tobacco
not
with
1996.
prestidigitation.
You can smoke anywhere.
Yeah, true. I light up a pipe of tobacco with prestidigitation and just like wide-eyed start puffing away.
Look, worst case scenario, you're only burdened with us for another couple of days. We'll be out of your hair, but in the unlikely event that anything does happen, we've come this far. It seems irresponsible of us to turn back now.
We can at least get you to your mansion that you
Quite
own
so.
safely.
It's sort of like a large house. It's kind of a mansion.
Your mansion that is profoundly not, attended by slaves.
Well, absolutely not. But yeah. Oh, it's weird.
Actually,
Everything's
that's
weird.
a
I've had a
point.
lot of posts, people asking me to, like, I had an invitation from some governor, like Governor Buchanan or something, to go to Thunder's Watch and have dinner with them.
That's fucking
Alright.
weird, isn't it?
Well, apparently,
Is it just because you're like a rich person now? Is that what it is?
I mean, I don't think I can actually fully encompass how rich I am right now.
Alright, well, not to put too fine a point on it, but don't you think that makes you kind of a target for the bandit types about?
Yeah, I suppose. Honestly, I'm more worried about the Vanduses. I've not been shouting it around, but apparently the governor found out.
If the governor found out, then most other people are going to find out very, very quickly afterwards.
I mean, honestly, the rest of the pissed off family aren't going to be secretive about it, are they?
No, quite.
Right. You know what? No, absolutely. Come with us. You survived the Kraken. You're obviously capable of handling yourselves, and
Yeah.
we'll sleep under the stars for a night, and then make the rest of the way back.
That sounds fine, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we could
Okay.
probably all fit on the if three of you didn't mind, riding on top with.
Oh, I'd love to.
Yeah.
That sounds fun.
Nods. You see one of the you see there is there's the sound of it exists at this point. You see a door open, swing open at the back, and stepping out there is a kind of brown coated halfling with a slightly bushy mustache. It's one of those ones that twirls a little at the end. And this Michael looks up. Oh, there you are. This is Oswald. Oswald is my driver. This is so weird.
Oh, pleased to meet you.
Oswald sort of he has like a little brown bowler hat which he puts on, tips it, doesn't say anything, just nods.
Kind of gesture with the pipe that I'm holding.
Nods again, tips his hat. Oswald's the kind of the silent type.
Oh, that's fair enough. I read Oswald's mind. I do that. That happens.
Oswald, you hear Oswald's mind. That was one good ship.
Celestia chokes on a lungful of tobacco. Excuse me, sorry.
Suppose I better go get the horses ready.
Yeah, you do that.
He gives a significant look to Michael. Do you want to get the? Do you want to get the horses ready? Oswald nods. Well, I guess I'll go get the horses ready. Right.
Celestia suddenly doesn't look like she's coping.
Thank you very much. Oswald tips his hat and walks out to get the horses ready.
She just like feigns coughing on this lungful of
Lyra
tobacco
just
for like
gives
way
you a
longer
weird
than is
look.
plausible. Excuse me. Strong shit, this.
Alright then. Alright then, I suppose we'll finish up our drinks and I guess we could head on out.
Yeah.
Make our way on to back to the farm.
Yeah.
Stands up, says, looks silly. I'll meet you outside. We'll just bring Oswald will bring the carriage round. Right, I'll meet you there. He gives a nod and steps out. Looks back, and Leah looks around. Thank you. Really, thanks.
Least I could do.
I'm glad we could do this. I mean, it seems only right that we do what we could for you.
You deserve it.
Yeah, absolutely.
She smiles. All right then. I guess let's go get a carriage ride.
Yeah.
What are you smiling about, Celestia?
Many levels of things, but mostly I'm really paranoid, so I read Oswald's mind and he was just thinking about the shit he'd just had. So that's all he was thinking. Oswald's had a fantastic shit if anybody's interested.
Whatever it takes to set your mind at ease.
It's not a good habit. Probably shouldn't excuse it, really, to be honest.
No, you probably should stop doing
Yeah,
that.
I really
but
should.
It does keep saving our lives. So
Yeah, it does.
Really.
You know, you think you should stop reading people's thoughts, and then you get paranoid about a fucking curry, and you're right. So, you know, hard to stop, really, isn't it? Let's get a carriage.
And you head out. Oswald brings around the carriage. Moustache kind of bristling.
I can't look at him.
Gives you a curious raised eyebrow, but as you all come as pretty much it's all three of you clamber onto the top. There is actually space on the top for seating on the top for all of you. Mm-hmm. Kind of Corzin at the front with Oswald, Celestia and Scamp behind, and Leah, taking a breath, steps into the carriage in the interior of the carriage. It's only got 2 seats inside with Michael, and with a kind of and a clack of the reins, the horses begin cloppering on forwards. Thank you.
Yay.
And making their way onwards towards the Van der Sar estates in the Vom Speerthrust plantation. And as you begin your day and a half journey across land, we will
These horses are slow.
muttering about the sedate pace of actual living horses. We'll pick up there next time. Thank you all very much for playing. Thank you all very much for listening. And farewell from all of us here at Flintlocks and Fireballs. Fair seas and natural 20s.
At last my love has found her swain, to bring them home's all that remains. He's found at last, and now they're free. Who knows what will become of me?
So gather your muskets, gather your spears, we'll plunder the shores of Calcinea. No kraken, storm or spell we fear, so come and sail with us, my dear.